in the den of iniquity. Vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what dwells behind the curtain. The face of evil smirking, with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, could either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons could breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
All right, Ike, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
How about you just do a monologue real quick while I try to figure out life? How about that?
100%. No problem, Bernard.
I'm gonna
no problem. No problem. So
I'm going to try to figure this thing out. So
I'm
going to do like this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you.
Do whatever
I'm
you
going to let
do.
you talk. All right.
You say, Ike, give us a hot 16. Give us a hot 16. Let's see. From far yonder, I see the blunder of my inauthentic self, my false persona. Something like that. Plot a few schemes with a mind of dishonor. Take a few breaths in the ganja sauna. I'm the choreographer of every chapter, the then and the after, descendant of masters. Just like the sheep, I depend on the pasture. Learn to be meek, depend on the rafter. Left behind after the heavenly rapture. For betrayal and blasphemy, I gave goons and demons what they asked of me. Foolish pride and malevolent audacity, and much to my you know, you guys don't want that, do you? How's it going? How's it going, everybody? We got Kay Adu in the house. We got Excalibur in the house. We got Javon. We got David in the house. We got all that goodness in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So while Bernard gets his act together, we're going to continue to figure out how we're going to play this out. Okay? Do I continue to give you guys hot 16? So do I proceed to introduce the topic? Let me get a one in the chat if you want some more. If you want some more bars, ladies and gentlemen. If you want some more bars. Stoic, Deacon, more bars, or do we start introducing the topic? What do you say? I see one in the chat, another one in the chat, another one in the chat. Now I'm bringing it back. The things I see on the daily seem kind of shady. Bare bone on the counter next to the gravy. Next to the Baileys, a pack of camels. 1 a.m. on the black clock on the wooden panel on the dash. I'm stepping on the gas. The other day, Amora pulled the weapon on my ass. 45 Magnum, nice silver polish. Really thought that'd be the night to abolish my plans. Advance, I stop all demands. I stop breathing, deceased buried under sand. I stopped at the liquor store at Elm and Grand. I got a few swishers to burn a few grams. Old time country, we burning new lands. Pseudo revolutionary, taking new stances. Open up the manual and take a few glances. Criminal male figure building new mansions. Scuba tanks and bongs. Take a deep breath and carry on. It's hard to tell right from wrong. With generations come and gone. Scuba tanks and bongs. Take a deep breath and carry on. It's hard to tell right from wrong. Know what I'm saying? Next one. The things I see on the daily seem kind of shady. It's crazy. Yo, it damn near phased me. A clear night. About 11:32, the moon is out. I'm sipping on a cold 32. I knew the stars had to smile at me. Corn-fed chicken heads talking foul at me. I took a walk through the dirty side of town, see the dirty hounds at the park where we gather round, feel the grass through the gaps in my sandals, look around, see the dirty works of the vandals, take another sip and I see another scandal, broken down bikes got that rot on the handle. Know what I'm saying? So we're going to be talking about how much money you got to make in order to quit your job. Now, this is a question that's important because the entrepreneurial mindset, the mindset of I got to go out there and get it, is a phenomenon that we're facing these days. Not just because people want to spread their wings, if you will, but because job security is something that is more and more elusive these days. Okay? More and more elusive these days, right? The gig economy is a reflection of that. Right. Back in the days when, 1950s, 1960s, 1940s, whatever it may be, back in the days when you could go in there to this particular company, work at the Ford Motor Plant, and then retire after 30 years, you could support a full family and all that kind of stuff. You can support a full family on that one salary. But now it is not the case. So the fact that people want to be more entrepreneurial, it's not just something whereby they're trying to feel themselves, right? It's a real question. It's a question of self-preservation, a question of survival. So we're going to be getting into it with Bernard. Back on stage, back to the story, back to the phase, back to the labyrinth, back to the page, back on board like back in the days. Hands are clapping and raising, ovation and set them. How's everybody doing? I see some super chats. Let me go ahead and even though I cannot go ahead and link them, I see Mr. M. Alfonso over here saying nice. Deacon Dave, MC Ike. Got bars. What you didn't know? Let's see. Maybe we could switch the flow. If you know a way for the youth to get a break, my brother, you should tell them. Because in the streets all they learn is the greed, the force and the rebellion. The stripes in the streets will attest to the strife. By the cold turnpike lays a bloody knife. So if you know a way to put an end to the fight, my brother, you should tell them. Tell them what? I say, shatta, 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 watch the bullet, they mascata. Hold up the light and spread the vibe with every word you utter. The matter to deliberate is how the youth them suffer. Inebriated off a cup of ignorance and squalor. Initiate the rhythm, put an end to all the schism. Eliminate the venom that infects their daily living. Rejuvenate the lessons they forgot that they were given. Recuperate a brighter vision. If you know a way for the youth to get a break, my brother, you should tell them. Because in the streets all they learn is the greed, the force and the rebellion. The stripes in the streets will attest to the strife. By the cold turnpike lays a bloody knife. So if you know a way to put an end to the fight, my brother, you should tell them. I say, few and far between's a time of peace, a time of plenty. So frequent are the times that are filled with grudge and envy. So many gather in their evilous assembly. Now it's trendy to be empty or be filled with iniquity. The double barrel shotty or the semi-automatic. The choices that they get to youth are faced with all are tragic. No magic to erase the tragedy or make it vanish. The vultures circle round and take advantage. Cause there's no time for jokes and games. We're in the midst of the smoke and flames. The youth are hopeless in rope and chains. Fire. Know what I'm saying? Word them up. Let's see what else is going out here in the house. We got 48 people and we have 32 likes. Not a bad ratio, if I may say, but please, you guys go ahead and click the like button. Okay. And also moderators, by the way, please go ahead and drop my link. All right. Yeah, me. Yeah, Ike, me. My link in the chat. While Bernard is away, the mice will play. Okay. All right. Let me try to put myself on the spot here and give you a freestyle, right? Real freestyle, off the dome, off the top, barely 6 a.m. out here in the West Coast. Can I do it? Stoic, what do you think? You think I'm up to this? All right. I'm not a freestyler. I'm a writer. Okay. I confess. I'm a writer. I'm a studio guy. But can I give a freestyle? Can I give a freestyle in the meanwhile? My man BernardRiley coming through like his name was Tavis Smiley, but he's not a cheater though, not a creeper, yo. But here we are on the YouTube, got the new boob and the new stew. I'm coming through with the new brew, but it's not OE, not the OE from the how about a cuss? But you know that I'm back to bust like I hop back on the bus like my name was Marcus Garvey back in the days. I got stoic 1, easy as they come, easy as they go, easy with the raw flow, lifted off the pavement, leaving your crew in enslavement, back in the slave ship. Yes, I punched her in the mouth after on the couch, yes. Like my name was Cypress, not the Empress, but the other one. Yes, another one. Here's another one. All right. So that was my freestyle for the day. Not so bad for a 6 a.m. out here in the West Coast. Not so bad whatsoever. So, as we begin to land the plane, as we begin to get into the topic, as we begin to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel, let's continue that conversation which I initiated about the topic. The topic being what amount of money it takes, right, for you to quit your day job. Now, as would be the case with any important decision, it's going to be a multivariant, multifactorial question. It's not one answer. It doesn't say, hey, just adjust for this and this, and here's your money factor. It at least depends on 3 things. It depends on the job, right? It depends on the money, and also it depends on your personality, okay? So obviously, it is not the case that a job is a job is a job. So any job, you know, is equally important. Any job is equally such that you can just push it away, okay? Jobs vary all the way from fry cook to high-powered, high-ticket, commission-only sales, right? These things are very different. In one particular job, you got to go in, you got to do your 9 to 5, you got to go to a particular establishment, so your time and space restrictions are high. And in other jobs, time and space restrictions are not so high, okay? So I have at least 5 factors, ladies and gentlemen, that affect why, you know, or how you should go about making a decision. Can you hear me now, Bernard?
I can hear you. I had to do some surgery. Surgery, and I heard your freestyle, and well, some of it, all of it wasn't freestyle, but I heard when you were spitting. I believe it was written bars at first, then freestyle towards the end, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I was impressed when I was scrambling.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. You know, we build it as we fly it, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was amazing. That was amazing. But it sounded like you were oh, and by the way, just so you know, you rapping, and that's incorporated into the show going forward. Just so you know, that's a permanent fee. You come with bars. That's all I'm saying.
Or bar, you know, you pour yourself a drink, you're like, well, go ahead, give us a musical interlude. Yeah, no problem. No problem. So I was just kind of saying that this not to be that person that says, oh, it depends. But when you say it depends, you need to come with the equation, right? You need to say it depends on these 3 factors. These are the factors are weighted. And if you plug in these numbers, right, then you come out with the answer, right? Obviously, things are multivariate. You can't just say, hey, if you make this money, then that's it. So I was saying that it depends on the job. It depends on the money, and depends on your personality. I have 5 factors. The first 2 are about the job, what job it is, right? Obviously, it's not just the case that a job is a job is a job. And then also, can the job complement your side hustle or not, right? Okay, and this is quite separate from, you know, the raw question of what job it is. Can it complement your side hustle or not? And then the next 2 factors are about the money. One, you want to do a very side-to-side comparison of the money, not just say, oh, I'm making in my paycheck 100,000 over here and I make 100,000 over there. It's like, no, look at the total compensation package that could be monetized, if you would, something that has monetary value that you're getting from your employer. Put that all in the equation, whether it be some kind of benefit, some kind of 401k matching, whatever it may be. You gather up all the dollars, put it down together. And then there is the question of the fact that multiple streams of income is absolutely key. So you should do everything possible to keep both flows open. You're going into this entrepreneurial mindset, okay? then you're going into the mindset which says multiple streams of income is key. Most millionaires out there have at least 6 streams of income. And then the last one is your personality. So again, there are 5 of them. Go ahead.
Oh, wait. Well, no, I wanted to stop you on that, on the keeping multiple streams of income open, as many of them as possible. Now, if you're chasing your dream, you're building something for yourself. It's your own thing. It's your own baby. When you're working for somebody else, that's somebody else's baby. Okay. When you're keeping those multiple streams of incomes open, normally that day job is time intensive. You minimum 8 hours a day. Then there's no commute and hopefully it's a job that doesn't follow you home. So when you look at it from that perspective, you have your own baby that you're building, but you're going to work for somebody else. You're nurturing somebody else's baby, essentially. Wouldn't keeping that stream of income open, in most cases, pull away from the stream of income that's yours, that with your name on it or your last name on it, as they say. You're taking away from the stream of income that has your last name on it by trying to keep multiple streams of income open when one of those streams of income is costing you 8 hours a day.
100%. So that's why the first 2 variables have to do with the job. The first, I just said, what is the job? The second, I said, can the job complement your side hustle? So beyond the fact that the job may be free in terms of if it's taking 8 hours of your day and it's killing your baby, right? Then that may be a problem. But
you can't say killing your baby on YouTube.
Can't just talk about just willy-nilly. Gotta at least give a good reason, right? Can't just willy-nilly kill babies. Yeah, but that's why the first 2 are really about the job, right? So you talk about the job, number 1, and then you talk about the complementing of your side hustle. Because the job may give you time and freedom, right? But it's even better if it complements your side hustle. You can take my situation. My situation can be generalized, which is I am selling products, okay, in a very free, no clocking in, I kill what I eat type situation to people whom also need services that I provide from in my own personal company. So my own personal baby provides services. Let's say you're selling lawn care products, but you are also a gardener. So the lawn care service, lawn care products gets you to the door, knock, blah, blah, the branding and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, hey, would you want somebody to apply these products for you and do the trimming of the hedges? I got a crew. You see, that's kind of how my situation is. I sell construction equipment to these construction companies. And guess what? They also need engineers, right? So we got to, yeah.
Does the company that you work for, I don't want to get you in any trouble here, Ike, but does the company that you work for, do they know or would they have a problem with hey, Ike, you quit all that damn cross advertising. We hire you to sell our products. Don't try to smuggle in your stuff under the table. Like, is that an issue?
So here's the thing about the entrepreneurial mindset, okay? Devil may cry, shoot first, ask questions later. To hell with all those black and white in the box type thinking. You want to go into this, you're going to need to take some risks. You want to go into this, you're going to know how to maneuver. You want to go into this, you're going to know how to leverage people left and right. Okay. So what am I saying by that? The company wants engineers like myself to specify their product. By specify, I mean, you get a set of drawings, Bernard. And I'm sure that in some of the drawings that you have gotten in back in the day when you were in construction, it'll say use Simpson screw, number 5 screw, or blah, 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 those kinds of things. It's specify a company, specify a product, right? Simpson has advertised to the market of engineers and specifiers, use my product, put it in the drawing so that the contractor does not have a choice. So I specify their products. I influence other people to specify their products. They want money. I bring in the money. That's really their primary concern. Is everyone down with that? No. But Jesus Christ, in this world of entrepreneurial, in this world of making moves, in this world of getting the bag, you got to know that it's risky. You got to know that you're taking the risk. You got to know how to give people what they want. You got to know how to have concentric circles of protection. That's another thing that I would say. What do I mean by that? In other words,
Concentric circles of protection.
exactly.
Like
So if you're keeping the people in the field whose job it is to make sure that they, in other words, make the people around you look good, right? If you're bringing in the money, when they start hearing something from corporate about, is I doing it? They're like, whatever, I don't care, right? Ike's bringing in the money. It's not breaking any rules per se. Now, the expo, and then
with what you said right there, that is a key factor, because there's different types of treatment, or we can use that word privilege, based off performance. And for I watched the NBA. I'm going to watch the Atlanta Hawks and Milwaukee Bucks this weekend. There's Charles Barkley could stay out partying all night and be pictures of him in the hotel room with hookers and all kind of stuff everywhere the night before the game. He still shows up, gets 30 points, 15 rebounds, whereas some role player who's not putting up the numbers that Barkley is putting up, if I find out, okay, you were drinking before the game, you were out with hookers last night, okay, that guy's getting traded, he's getting cut from the team. So a lot of times we don't take that, especially black folks, we don't take that into consideration. We all have like a union mindset. Nothing wrong with unions. I was a union guy, but we have a union mindset that is all supposed to be equal and level across the board. But no, there is different treatment based off performance. So basically what you are saying is that you perform well, you close the deals, you make the sales. So whatever Ike is doing over on the side, we can turn a blind eye to that potentially, because hey, the numbers are what the numbers are. That's essentially what you're saying. Ike is giving us numbers. Joe Smo, who's performing mediocre, if we find out he's doing some stuff like that, okay, we got a problem with it now. Is that essentially what you're saying?
It's essentially what I'm saying. And also the risk part has to do with the fact that if for some reasons that may be due to my lack of performance or circumstances outside of my control, things fall off, I know that it can then become an issue. But that's what you do in this world, right? In terms of chaos writing. And that's where the personality aspect, which is the last part that I mentioned. Not everybody can handle the chaos, the uncertainty, and the responsibility of the entrepreneurial life. So if you can't handle this kind of chaos, you can't handle this kind of like, oh my God, I'm working outside the system. Because by definition, if you want to do something new, you want to do something different, you want to do something spectacular for yourself, you cannot be moving like the herd. You can't, you can't, right? So beyond the fact that I'm bringing in the money, okay, because of my network of engineering people, I can solve certain problems for the clients that pertain to me then being able to sell that product. In other words, if I come in, let's use the lawn care example. I come in and I know these special horticulturists, right? The ones that do flowers and so on and so forth. That's not my particular business, but because I'm in the industry, I have pull with them, right? And these people that I'm selling to, okay, I'm trying to sell to, they have special flower problems. They have a Japanese garden. This white guy's got a nice Japanese wife, and to keep his family happy, right? It'll be great if I solve their flower problems. And I'm like, hey, I got the person for you. I bring in the person, solve that problem. Now I'm slanging that product all day that I'm selling for the other company, right? Blah, blah, blah. So the idea is I bring value to the client, and as a result, I can influence the client vis-a-vis the product that I'm selling. And then also I get value as well. You got to be able to work in the gray area in this world. And the concentric circles means, number one, you're keeping people happy in terms of the money, but also you treat people well. You treat the client well so they never complain. All the way from the foreman to the superintendent to the project manager, project executive, even the owner of the company, right? And then same thing within your company as well, within your field. Look, these things pay off 100%. And it's just another way for my personality type, because I'm not the what they call it extroverted feeling, that kind of backslapping, hey, let's go hang out. Like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I know how to keep people in my team, and you give them value. That's it. You give them value. They want freestyles, you give them freestyles. They want to, blah, 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 you give them that. They want good service, you give them that. Whatever they want, you give it to them, and then they're less likely to go. If somebody comes to them, like, hey, did you know I did not cross this T and dot this I over here? They're like, And I don't care. Ike just Ike was able to deliver on a Sunday evening this particular package and save me $50,000 last week. And you're over here telling me, get the hell out of here.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Is there, and granted, this is going to vary for everyone else. So this is moving into a personal realm with this question that I'm asking here. Mm-hmm. Is there a certain amount of money, success, or growth that can happen with your business where you already have an idea in mind? If I get to the point where I got X number of employees making X number of dollars, when I get to X, wherever X is, I'm going to leave my day job. Like, is there something in mind already with that?
Yes, and because I'm a crazy person. So see what I did is
be your answer. See, let me just stop you. I sat there and thought to myself, Ike is crazy enough in the affectionate way that you call yourself crazy. I was sitting there thinking Ike is crazy enough to where he probably, and I might be wrong here, but he's probably going to work himself to death, even though he probably should. Mathematically, and all the indicators should show Ike, quit that job. Just quit. You're probably still gonna just burden yourself with doing them both.
There's something else I did not even mention. Look, Bernard, I get my employees for my personal job, right, to help me with the sales job. How? Because there's research that needs to be done.
Wait, say that part again. I missed what you said. I probably need to turn the speaker up. What did you say?
Prometheus Engineering, my company, right? I got employees, okay? And then I also do this, as I said, technical sales for somebody else, which is 100% free, free range out there, right? I don't have to show up anywhere. Nobody knows where I'm at. As long as I bring in the numbers, show up for some meeting sometime and say, where the numbers at, that kind of a thing. But I have my personal employees, right, help me with that sales gig. Why or how? Well, there's research that needs to be done. There's new tools and software and so on and so forth. In other words, there's some kind of know-how of the construction industry, the products and so on and so forth that are necessary. I may need a slideshow present, whatever. So point is, I'm using even my company to do this other job for me. Now, who the hell thinks of that kind of thing? It's not rocket science, right? But basically, my point is this. You want to get into this entrepreneurial world, you got to get out of this whole black and white, but the system, how about the man? If they do this, if they say that, what if they catch me? If they catch you, they cut you off, so be it. You move on. Now, to answer your question more directly, for me, it has to do with when I'm able to solidify the advantages of this particular position without necessarily being in this position. So what I did was I switched jobs. I did not quit my job. So I've had Prometheus Engineering since 2014. It's about 7 years now. But I've had this sales job for about 5 years now. When Prometheus Engineering started making the same amount of money as my design engineering job, right? Just in terms of gross income, which by the way is more when you in net, by the way, because DBA, LLC, private type stuff means you get to have all those expenses and so on and so forth. You're in a different kind of tax category, right? So $1 that you make by yourself goes further than $1 that you make in a paycheck. I'm sure you understand this, Bernard, right? So when it was making that money, did I quit my day job? No, I went and got a different kind of day job that not only gave me the freedom to expand Prometheus Engineering, but also augmented Prometheus Engineering in the way which I just described.
Hold on 1 second. Right? I got background noise that I got to get rid of because I'm opening up the windows. Give me a second. Dang, okay, now it's just frozen. Okay.
So when it was making that money,
sorry.
Did I quit my day job? We're good now? I went a different kind of day job that not only gave me the freedom to
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, my fault. That was my bad.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
No problem. yeah, to reiterate the question, which is basically, is there a particular set of circumstances? Is there play a goal? It could be a combination of money or whatever it is, whatever X is that will cause you to then quit the job. I already quit a job before because of that set of circumstances. But my point is, I went and got a different job, a different stream of income. And there are many things that this thing gave me. Okay. I went out there to be customer facing because I was a design engineer, an engineer sitting in the corner doing my, bobbing my head, writing my raps and designing stuff. Right. And, just generally being in heaven, no one is bothering me, so on and so forth. But I also knew that I need to exercise this other skill, which I have, the gift of gab, which is kind of strange for an introvert to have, but lots of introverts can talk. They just don't like to do it. So I was like, okay, I can talk and I can get paid for this. I can expand my network with this and I can build something with this. And also Prometheus Engineering is also making the same amount of money that I'm making at this other design job. But in order to expand it, in other words, I need to get out of the office, right? So that was it at that time. So in order to get out of the office, I didn't quit jobs. I found another kind of job that was going to allow me to explore this whole go in front of people, talk to them, do my closing magic, and also get out of the office, right? Now, what will make me do the next step? Because I have an opportunity actually to go to Europe, right? To do some for the same company, right? It's gonna open up great opportunities, okay? Because it's an international company that I work for. I can go to Europe over there to their main hub in Liechtenstein. Crazy money, crazy tax benefit, ridiculous craziness, right? And I can help them develop certain kinds of things for their training. Why would I do? That is the next thing that I can do. But what I have to do is all the benefits now that I'm getting from this particular job vis-a-vis the networking and the contacts, I need to find some other way to solidify that, solidify my network, solidify my referral kind of chain, get my own, and also, in other words, get my own sales team. So if I get my own sales team, of which I'm the main sales guy now for my job, and if I can get my own sales team going, not if, when I get my own sales team going, okay, and I can be like, you know what, I can keep these plates here spinning, okay, over here in California, and I can leave to Europe, go do European type whatever, make my name over there and all those other kinds of things while Prometheus Engineering still runs, because Prometheus Engineering is a remote company, as you know, got employees in Europe and Ethiopia, right? So that's the kind of move that I would make, but I still would not want to turn off the spigot. Remember my 5 factors, 2 of which have to do with the job, 2 have to do with money, and 2 have to do with your personality. My personality is of the kind that I can handle a lot of chaos, right? A lot of uncertainty, a lot of like multiple things happen at the same time. Okay, and this tends to be the entrepreneurial mindset. If you cannot do that, perhaps you should not be. And the point is also this idea that everybody should be an entrepreneur. Obviously, is a little bit insane because some people need to be workers, and it's not the case that being an employee is always horrible. Neither is it the case that being an entrepreneur is always great. So for me, to reiterate my answer is solidify the sales team, solidify the kind of rotation of referrals and so on and so forth that this particular job and my location in California helps me to do, or in the West Coast, I should say. If I can solidify that, I'll move on. But I'll move on to a different kind of I'm not just going to turn off the W-2 spigot because I know that it does things for me in terms of these companies have their brand, they have their this, they have their, yeah. That's my personality though.
Good stuff. Sick Lid in the building with the super chat says, I can make money on the street corner rapping. Absolutely. Absolutely. That could be third stream of income. I think you only got 2. That's a potential third stream of income. Good. Get you a guy to, do you play any instruments?
I play a little guitar and keyboard.
Perfect. You can just,
but in hip hop, you don't have to be a master player, right? You do pop. You can make the beat live there. You know how you don't have this thing where you can make the beat and then boom boom and then you just start spitting all day.
Yeah. You could do that. Like I don't know for sure, but those guys who be on the corner with the saxophone or on the corner singing, at high traffic areas where a lot of people walking by, I think they make decent money at the, enough people walk by, put $5-10 in there. you've been singing for 4 to 8 hours. You've made some money. You've made some money. I wouldn't be shocked if they could easily make $100 an hour.
Yeah,
But
and
anyway.
you could even imagine some kind of, let's say Dr. Thunder, for example. In other words, some kind of person that needs to practice his saxophone anyways, right? And he lives in the San Francisco area, let's say, right? And it's like, you know what? Let me go and, because it's not just practicing your saxophone, but when you're practicing when you're doing it in front of an audience, you're also practicing your performance, and you're also getting paid to do that. Perfect, right? I gotta play this damn thing anyways.
Yeah, I saw a guy in Detroit. I guess he was practicing. I like, bro, you need to work on that a little more before you come out here practicing on us. he was kind of bad, but that's another story. But he was getting out there. He was giving it a go. Shout out to Sick Lib. Appreciate you this morning. Clue in the building with the super chat, and I'm out here. Yeah, everything is still plugged in. Shout out to you for putting 5 on it. Wait, hold on. Is it gonna work?
All
right.
There you go.
All right. I couldn't hear that. You guys can hear it. Hold on one more time. Hold on. All right, cool. So that still works on the road. Those are wondering why there's a new background. I am currently at my lady friend's house, as Obsidian calls it. At my lady friend's house. It is June 26th. My birthday is June 28th. So tomorrow, me and Ike, we normally do this stream on Sunday, but tomorrow I'll be getting on a plane heading to Atlanta. We're going to be watching the Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks play.
Nice.
So we'll be at that game. But that's why I'm doing a road game, so to speak, with a different background. I bought some. I had a Yeti mic, but I basically let my son have it because he's doing some Twitch streaming, gaming stuff, and he's using the Yeti for that. So I went and bought a Yeti mic and this little webcam thing that I'm experimenting with, just for it'll be for when I'm on the road. If I go somewhere, I got some type of equipment that can travel with me. I probably need to. Kuda would tell me I probably need a better mic, even for traveling. A Yeti mic is not acceptable. Probably what Kuda would say. But I'm out here on the road with the Yeti mic. I'm still in my hometown or home state of Michigan, but tomorrow I will be airborne tomorrow. We'll be airborne tomorrow. Oh, you brought me some coffee? I wasn't even expecting that. I thought, thank you.
Yeah, look at that. All kinds of good service and everything.
Yeah, got good service today. But shout out to everybody in the building. And if you missed the beginning of the show, it was technical issues, and Ike entertained us with he spit some bars. He was rapping. He was rapping and singing while I got the technical issues worked out. So that was wonderful. But trying to find my super chats, everything looked different on his laptop. I'm not gonna lie. Everything looked different on his laptop. Falcon Black in the building with a $10 super chat. Shout out to you. Shout out to Reality First in the building. In here, okay, we got a good comment. Yeah, when me and Ike do these shows, questions are welcomed and recommended, because questions sometimes will drive the show. You ask a good question to Ike, he'll drop some jewels and pearls of wisdom on us. But shout out to Reality First, says, after my job let me go at the start of the year. He said start of the beer flu. I thought he was trying to say year, but got it all wrong. But no, beer flu. Gotcha. At the start of the beer flu, I said F a 9 to 5, started doing my own thing and haven't looked back since. Crypto gang, hashtag passport. That is a factor in the equation too. And I don't know if you have anything you could relate to when it comes to that, Ike, but sometimes it happens out of necessity. You don't have to juggle between, do I leave this day job working for somebody else versus being an entrepreneur.
Oh, they'll make the decision for you.
They kind of made the decision for you. They hey, I get the catch a flight guy out of here. You can't get a content creator's name and put it as your. I mean, you can't get a content creator's face and have it as your icon, your avatar with a catch. I'm get the trolls out of here. Get the trolls out. So yeah, get catch a flight out of here. But sometimes it happens out of necessity. It was forced upon you. You had no control, no say in the matter. That was sort of my origin story with me. So let's go that route for a little bit, even though it's technically not connected to the show, but it's adjacent to it. Versus,
I think I started out when you said do a monologue. I basically took it back to the gig economy reference that we had in a different show, which is basically the fact that people are consuming all kinds of information about the entrepreneurial life, drop your 9 to 5, so on and so forth. It's not just because people have these massive egos now, they're feeling themselves. It's an economic reality that job security is no longer what it used to be, right? So that is 100% understood, right? 100% understood. And super chats are coming in. You let me know when you want me to, if you can find them.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, this chat, it's not moving so fast. They're going to be here for a while. I can. So you got time to ramble on. Well, you don't ramble. I ramble. You speak very clear and precise with a clear end path, a clear direction in mind, and an end path. I don't know where I'm going to end when I just start talking. That's
so.
I do the Edward Anderson. Edward don't know where he's going. He just keeps going until he gets there.
Like, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna stop. Like, you sure, Edward? Hey, I'm sure Edward gets this everywhere. We love you, Edward, but.
Yes.
Damn, you're pretty entertaining with that thing, man. That thing you do, it's pretty funny. I'm gonna say this. Just I'm
gonna say this and I'm done.
I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Oh, Edward. So it could be the case that you have the kind of a personality, which I would suspect that Mr. Reality that sent that chat had that personality whereby, hey, F it, passport gang, crypto gang, entrepreneur gang. These people just forced me into it. And it tends to be the case that a lot of times life has to force you into that situation, right? And more people are getting forced into the situation where they need multiple streams of income. The gig economy is something that we mentioned earlier before. Also, we need to learn about how to do this entrepreneurial thing correctly. Now, you could be forced into the situation where your personality, because you remember, I said my factors, which are 5 of them, have to do with money, job, and personality. If your personality is such, and this is something that okay, and something that the marketplace will tell you, if your personality is such that you can handle the chaos, you can handle responsibility, you have a high enough IQ, okay, let's go there, okay? Not every helmet out there can run a business, okay? Not every helmet out there can be responsible.
they don't average that into the equation enough. They don't. They will try to say, hey, just go out there and do it. Anybody can do it. Okay, I love the go get it, conquer the world mentality. Everybody is not for everything. There are some things that I know I can't handle. This is too. I'm not about to get too. That's a whole nother show. Knowing your limitations and what you can and can't do. That's a whole nother show. But yes, I love that you point that out. It's not for everybody. Everybody can't do it. Some people need to be worker bees. But go ahead.
Yeah. So then there is the other side for these non-entrepreneurial people for whatever sets of reasons, which is no freaking insult or anything like that. It's like why do you think it's so glamorous to be out here facing chaos, So for those kinds of people, okay, whom as a result of the economy, they may lose a job, but now what they got to do is learn the kinds of jobs that they can have. And I said plural even. The kinds of jobs that you can have such that you can still dictate your life. Because the point is, the company is not going to dictate your life anymore, and they're not giving the rewards of them dictating your life. If we look back, we keep on having this example of this person, you kept a family, your wife did not work, you kept the whole family, you worked at this factory for 30 years, you lived the actual middle class lifestyle, which, by the way, doesn't really exist anymore, in the sense that people finance their middle class lifestyle. I'm going to say it again. In order to be the equivalent of the middle class when that term came up, okay, in other words, you work, okay, can everybody hear me in the chat? Only you as the man is working. Your wife is not working. You got a house. You can have like 3 kids and so on and so forth, and you can retire. That is what the middle class was defined as. Now, it's a rough definition and all these things, all this class BS is just BS anyways. But in order for people to do that, what are they doing these days? They're financing shit. If they finance the house and finance the BMW and finance the vacation and finance the child's education, they're just financing everything to death, and they're in debt. In reality, in today's dollars, you need to be making at least if you're living where I live, Bay Area, you need to make like $500,000 a year to live that middle class lifestyle. In other words, your wife is not working, you're able to have 3 kids, take care of the family, and then retire at a reasonable age, $500,000 a year, easy, okay? And then you can adjust downward from the Bay Area to somewhere else. But so all that stuff that, when Kevin Samuel says, 6 figures, all that, that's just the basics, okay? 6 figures is like your normal, just basic bottom of the rung. If you want to start talking about middle class, you can fake it. We all faked it with the financing, okay? I'm going to buy the Trigger grill on a credit card and barbecue, fine steaks every weekend, and be in debt. That's kind of what we do these days. But the point is this: since this is the economic reality, many people are going to be forced into making a decision. Some of which, like the reality guy, is going to go, a reality guy referencing the super chat, is just going to go full bore because he has the personality to handle the chaos. He's smart enough. He can handle the responsibility. But others need to now start learning, okay, what are these skills I need to have? I like these IT people that come. IT is great because you can take it in chunks. It's not like engineering. Engineering, you got to go 4 years in minimum. 5 years for most people, 6 years for some. Minimum, okay, before anybody takes you seriously. And then after that, you're going to have to get your licenses. It's like medicine and all these kind of quote unquote professional jobs. Heavy lifting has to be done up front. But IT, you can get certificate after certificate after certificate. And guess what? The economy is such now that you can work remote, especially coronavirus. Coronavirus was a blessing for pushing people into more of this remote working situation. So for those who are not going to go because of personality and so on and so forth into the full entrepreneur thing, you can be like, hey, I'm going to get this particular skill and I'm going to be a code checker, or I'm going to have a deadline to have this particular code written or solve these particular problems for this particular company. And I can do it from my basement, okay, covered in Cheeto dust with my laptop all day. And also maybe I drive some Uber, and also maybe I'm investing in the stock market and so on and so forth. This is another way where you're not going full entrepreneur. Maybe that person from whom you're doing the code checking is giving you some kind of benefits. You get your health benefits from there and blah, blah, blah. And then from your cryptocurrency and then also from your Uber, blah, blah. You kind of have to combine things together. This is the new kind of work-life balance of which it represents a great opportunity because the technology is there, and coronavirus is a great excuse whereby companies now are tending not want to even go back to, let's put people in a box and let's spend all that money anymore. Now, what it tends to do though is now they have to find people that can operate without people watching them or watching over their shoulders. Okay. I mean, and then and then as an entrepreneurial endeavor, imagine if you had a business, okay, like myself, and I wanted to open a call center, right? I don't need to actually go to India and open a physical space. There could be an app. I don't know if this app exists, but you could just dream it up. It could be an app whereby I'm like, okay, this is the app for handling the customer service or the sales calling of my company. You want to work for me? All you got to do, just like Uber, is turn on the app, right? And once you turn on the app, you start taking calls. The app tells you, obviously, like which are the employees are there. If the game is sewn up, right? Like, like you're like, you know what? At nighttime, no one else is there, so I do my calls at nighttime, right? Another person is like, oh, I do my calls during the day. No, but you get to pick when you are going to make the calls. So me as an entrepreneur, I'm taking advantage of the gig economy, the entrepreneurial place, and I'm having employees, but we're operating in a different mode. The shape of their operation is different. It's not come into this building, do a 9 to 5, and so on and so forth. So that was a broad sweep across many aspects that came to your question. But let me reiterate. The question, or the thing that you asked me to comment on, had to do with the economy forcing you into situations. Number one, the economy is going to force you into a situation such that your personality is, F it, I think that I am enough of a chaos rider and enough of a responsible person whereby I can go full entrepreneur. However, there are other aspects, another extreme whereby you're going to be like, well, F it, I'm going to take advantage of the economy and handle these kinds of jobs/gigs and be able to do multiple of them because of the remoteness that is now available to us as a result of the technologies and the current corona situation. You are muted, BernardRiley.
One question that I do want to ask you. I want to ask you how has the coronavirus, bug, flu, I don't want to trigger the algorithm. How did it affect your business? That was something that somebody threw out a topic on, doing a show on brick and mortar businesses and how they made it through the beer bug. Like some black owned businesses or brick and mortar is not just online, and you're not just shipping stuff. You relied heavily on customers actually coming in. How did you adjust and adapt to that? So after I get through the super chats, I do want to ask you, were there some things in your business that had to go through some drastic changes because of the beer bug? But shout out to RBR Network. I think he's sort of lucid today. Let's see. I'm wondering if I got paid for $1 million Tesla ad on my homepage, I can quit my day job making $22 million a day for YouTube. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I thought he was lucid.
RBR.
Eric the Red in the building. Even though this laptop is moving kind of funny, I'm going to try to play the 20 bucks.
Oh, I want 150,000. So we can settle out of court right now for 20 bucks.
Man, get your...
I don't know if the bomb dropped. Yeah, this laptop is moving a bit funny. But shout out to Eric Durrell. He says, "Happy birthday, bro, Bernard." I thought he was saying brother Bernard. He didn't even type Bernard, but I added it in there. Happy birthday, bro. 628. We got the same born day. Shout out, salute to you. I'm not one of the what's your sign people, but we qualify as cancers. Cancers of the world unite. I don't know what I don't do that, but okay. Shout out to you. He says, have a shot of Gentleman Jack from Eric the Red. Salute. Listen, man, I'm not on my home turf today. Not on my home turf, so I don't have the Jack handy. I will have one later on in your honor. I will. But shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. And definitely shout out to you. Let's see what else we got going on in here. This is kind of weird because the camera is up here, but I'm looking down. Yeah, the camera is up here, but I'm looking down. So it's kind of weird today.
Oh, your hairline is okay.
My hairline good? Not really.
Your hairline is good.
Not really, man. It always need to be touched up. It's never quite all the way right. Shout out to here we go. Shout out to K Business Podcast. Great stream. Happy birthday. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the birthday love right now that you guys are giving, because there's a really strong possibility that I will not be on the air on my birthday, even though it's a Monday. I probably won't be on the air. But Falcon Black in the building says, happy birthday for 28th. Thanks for the year of intellect and entertainment. Cancer Gang. Hashtag Cancer Gang. Shout out to bro Ike. Definitely. Shout out to Falcon Black in the building. Let's see who else we got in here. And I'm sorry I'm going hella slow through these super chats because this laptop, I'm in here on some different internet on a different machine, and it's just everything looks different and it's moving different. It's moving different. It's like a lag. I don't know if I'm lagging, but the computer, the screen, the desk is lagging. But shout out to Osama Abdu in the building. 500K. Come on, man. Total bogus. 389K a year is top 1% of all of us earners. People in the 50s lived how a lot of immigrants live, way below their means. The median household income is 69K in the U.S. Shaking my gosh darn head. You want to respond to that, Ike? Because I don't know exactly. I know you mentioned that. I don't know. Okay, you can respond to that, Ike. I don't know why he's saying what he's saying right there. He's saying that as if you implied that 500K is what's required or necessary to.
What do you think I said? No, here's what I said. Okay, so when I say middle class lifestyle, I'm not talking about median, mean, or any of those kinds of statistical distributions. I'm talking about the kind of life that people want to live, which is, and I define it rather clearly, and I say 500K if you live in it where I live, right?
And that's not LA, but
San Francisco Bay Area, right?
Okay, that's even worse.
I said only you are working. You got the house with the picket fence and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about how everybody lives. I'm talking about that American dream, middle class, which everybody pretends and finances, right? I'm saying if you want to live it without financing it, right, without putting everything on. Okay, so only you are working, right? You're able to support you, your wife, 3 kids, and retire, no problem. You take them through college, and you got that house, okay? And you're not financing it, and you're in the Bay Area, come up with the number. It's pretty simple. And then I said adjust for everywhere else. But it's just, it wasn't picking on anybody. So it almost sounds like I'm picking on somebody based on the response. This is just reality, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think some people don't get what's meant by, and then we can't pretend like Kevin Samuels isn't in the backdrop of this conversation right now whenever we're talking about that much money, because yes, I'm one of the middle America people who, when I hear about somebody that takes $500,000 to take care of a family, yeah, that's a knee-jerk reaction. That's a foreign language to me. So I can understand where he's coming from. However, if you ask yourself the simple question in San Francisco, not how much does it take to get by? No, how much does it take to live a comfortable upper, I would assume that would be upper middle, a comfortable.
Okay, it's called upper middle, but the thing is they want the house. The image is this, okay? Mr. X is working, his wife is home, they take care of the kids, they have a house, they got the two cars, one blah, 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 and he retires comfortably, right? How do you do that in this day and age? Not by, and again, shout out to Savings Minus Debt, without being a slave to debt is what I'm saying. And if you take, again, it's like a simple equation. You can remove any one of these factors and then change it around, but you don't have to argue with the equation.
Exactly. No, and I'm with you on that, because normally what is meant by that, we're talking able to pay for 2 or 3 kids college, like able to pay for it, no student loans, no financial aid, no. You're able to just drop the money on the table. The kids, everybody has you and your wife have a car. Our kids, the 3 kids, they get a car when they turn 16. That's we're talking about a house that's going to be, comfortably more than worth. I mean, out in San Francisco, I can only imagine those houses are worth.
Yeah, well, wait, hold on a second. Yeah, let me also address.
What would be a
Yeah, go ahead.
$200,000 house out here is probably going to be a $700,000 house out there. It's
Okay.
so many factors in the equation to where, yeah, those certain people live in an upper middle class lifestyle. That's how much a lot of them are making.
So I specifically said I'm not talking about median, mean, or any of that. So
Yes.
someone, because he responded again saying, if we're talking about median, like I didn't talk about median, I talk about a middle class lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's in people's head. People want to live that way. They finance it. These days, we complain about student loan debt. We complain about the housing debt. We complain about the fact that people don't have money saved. They want that lifestyle. That's what they want to live. I'm not talking about middle class, meaning median or mean or any kind of statistical number. I'm talking about the life that people want to live, okay? And that it is no longer possible. In other words, things are more dire than we like to. The fact that I'm saying you got to make 500K, what does that make you think, Bernard? Does it make you think like, oh, I mean, what does it make you think, or what does it make you feel?
Nothing.
Exactly. It's like I'm giving you a reality of the difference between back then and what people call the middle class lifestyle, not the median income. There's a middle class lifestyle, the American dream, the house with the picket fence, blah, blah, blah. I can work and I can support a family, take them through college. Not everyone is saddled with debt. How can you do that today is the question.
I think I cracked the code when you say middle class lifestyle. There was a study done where they asked everybody, people who didn't exactly know, but they asked them, what class are you in? Upper class, upper middle, lower class, or poor and poverty or whatever. Everybody, even the poor people, said they were in the middle. Even people who were in that upper middle class said they were in the middle. Everybody basically said, well, most people said they were in the middle, because the people that were doing really well, they didn't want to say, oh, I'm upper, I'm up there, I'm above everybody else. No, I'm in the middle. I got to work hard. I got to pay bills. I got to, budget to make sure I can send the kids to college. I'm in the middle. I'm just a normal American. Even the poor person that was just getting by would be like, okay, yeah, I clipped some coupons here, but I'm not poor. I'm not eating out the trash. I'm in the middle. So when people hear middle, they put themselves there. So it doesn't compute to some people when you say middle class lifestyle and you're talking, well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't compute.
Yeah, I know, but Bernard, you got two brain cells to rub together, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
They view that as upper class. That's what they view it as.
So yeah, I'm talking about the lifestyle people want to live and that they consider middle class, and then that they finance to live, right? That could have been done with one person before, but it's not possible anymore. This is something to show you about how messed up the situation is, not about that you're not pulling your weight or X, Y, or Z. So when I say the middle class lifestyle, it's not a statistical thing attached to it. I'm using it because that's common parlance that is used to describe a particular kind of lifestyle. Because if you talk about the median income and the lifestyle, it's not that lifestyle, is it? It's not one guy working picket fence, wife, blah, 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 putting the kids through college. But when people think middle class, they still think of that, the middle class. They don't, that kind of a thing. So the point is, we've come so far from economic security, from what it used to be in the past, that now, because of globalization and other things, the rug has been pulled out of all of us, right? That we got to look at things differently. And the situation is more dire, in other words, than we might think. And hence the responsibility is heavier. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. I got you. I understand. I'm just was analyzing what some people hear when they you say one thing, they hear something else, and it's I think it's always going to be that disconnect with some people.
And the stats are correct, by the way. Osama's stats are correct, but I'm not talking stats. I'm talking that lifestyle that they want to live, and it's no longer possible.
Mm-hmm. Evie now in the building with the super chat. She says, "Happy birthday, BernardRiley." Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Cool. Kamazi in the building said, happy birthday, Bernard, and salute to Ike. What are your thoughts on freelance work, such as data management, bookkeeping, virtual admin as an option? I think that was one that was for you, Ike.
Data management, bookkeeping, virtual admin as an option. I mean, I think I went into that, right, in terms of, because I think the main thing there is freelance, right? And I went into that when I talked about the IT thing or the call center thing and so on and so forth. The main thing there is freelance. I said there's certain certifications and so on and so forth. If there's certifications that make it such that somebody will hire you for bookkeeping, right? Go ahead without getting an accounting degree or something like that. Maybe you do have an accounting degree. Also, what this thing does is it opens up opportunities for people outside the United States, right? And also opening up opportunities for employers in the United States. So before, in the past, Bernard, before you could call yourself an employer, okay, and corporations have already been here 20 years before you, right? Before you could call yourself an employer, you're going to be in the United States here. You got to bring this guy in. You got to do certain things for him, where it's not just a 1099. You're taking care of his, it's going to cost you a lot more, right? But now you can employ people almost even full time, right? Outside the United States, doing certain things for you, whether it be HR or bookkeeping, as I mentioned, and so on and so forth. These are all 100% options for that person who's not going to be like, F it, crypto gang, passport gang. I just went full into my entrepreneurial thing. In other words, there needs to be multiple streams of income. Everybody now needs to have that kind of a mindset because there is no pension waiting for you at the end of the day. And if you look at what people have done with their 401k, if you look at just a couple of generations behind you, see how they are when it comes to retirement, you see what I mean when I say you need a whole lot more money than you might think in order to do the thing, right? And by the way, I pick this particular area because it represents the peak, right? Kevin Simons always talks about, Atlanta dollars, Dallas dollars, which would be more in the median. And then you can go down into other places where you can live a solid lifestyle differently. But why not pick the peak? Okay, there are a lot of people here. You disappear, Bernard?
Oh no, I'm still here. I was playing with my camera. I think I bumped the mic. You probably heard some. I don't know. But no, I was
Gotcha. Gotcha. No, so yeah, whether it be bookkeeping or HR or admin or virtual sales or whatever it may be, all these opportunities are now out there, both as an employee and as an employer. We interviewed the person that did the comic book stuff a couple of weeks ago, and he has artists from, I believe, Argentina and so on and so forth, right? So, but it's a global market. It's a remote market. Take advantage of it. Definitely 100%.
Right on. Shout out to SKC in the building. Says, be safe. Stay away from them college pronounced Collie Park, East Point, and Decatur. I don't know what you're talking about. Enjoy the game and salute to you and Ike. Thank you, SKC, for the super chat. Appreciate that. SKC
Just to stay away from Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur. Okay. Shout out to you. I am tripping right now. I apologize for like the dead air moments because it's on a new device. Not a new device, an old device. I'm using an old laptop and it's acting real weird. A Stoic One in the building says, happy birthday, Bernard. Many happy returns of the day. Many happy returns of the day. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Shout out to trying to make my way on down the list. I apologize for the fumbling. Let's see. All right. That's it. All right. come on, Osama. Okay, let's see what Osama's still talking about now. Like, if you're talking about medium middle class and using the most expensive area he didn't talk about, okay. Most expensive area in the U.S., that would be statistically disingenuous.
Okay.
All right, I think you explained that. I think you explained and answered that quite well.
He is correct, though. That there's nothing inconsistent about his sentence, right? It's just that I'm not talking about median income. I'm talking about the thing that is in people's head about the middle class lifestyle, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
now here's one thing I think that Usama will agree with me is this. Cut down that middle class lifestyle expectation, right? Where you think, in other words, perhaps you need 2 incomes in a household. Haha, is that such a surprise? That's what most households have, right? Okay. And perhaps you cannot afford that house with the big backyard that you think you can afford. Cut that down. Okay. Perhaps you need to save your money and maybe you need to get into buying some kind of franchise or something like that. Right. So the point is, when I say that you need that money in order to live that life, is to show people that they cannot afford the life that they think they want to live. Right. And that they should make choices, A or B. Go get that money. Okay. Go get that money. Or change your idea and your notions about what you can actually afford rather than do what people do right now, which is finance it through debt.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Snuggles in the building. She says, Bernard, when are you and Ike going to do a live stream together on IG? Ike, do you even have an IG?
I do have an IG, but do you ever do live streams on IG?
Never. I've never even posted, well, at least not for my my personal Instagram page. I have like a total of 8 pictures on it, so that lets you know how much I care about posting on Instagram. And for my for the YouTube channel, I just created an Instagram called BernardRiley Show, which I've posted nothing on there at all.
So here's
I have
what
an empty Instagram. So I'm shocked that she would suggest that.
You know what? I think that it makes sense because there's a reason why people do live on Instagram, right? Lots of eyeballs there, right? It's kind of perfectly suited to, even more so than YouTube, for that kind of scrolling and then just watching, right? So what you can do is you could book one day, right, with a photographer, whereby, you get a couple of suits, maybe you rent a kind of because you can rent like these kind of hotel packages, it's like a conference room and a this and a that, whatever. And so that you can have both video and footage of you in different scenarios, because you want like a professional thing, right? Not just like and it's perfect that you haven't posted anything yet, right? So you want it to look professional. It's like, oh yeah, here's me walking into this place, here's me together, and these different kind of poses. You're sitting on your desk with your setup. In other words, you can have
talking about like the Kevin Samuels picture where he's looking off to the looking off into the distance,
that kind of stuff. So the point is, you have those kind of let's say you have like 50 solid professional ones that you can pepper in there once or twice a month and mixed in with your regular, just like, hey, I'm walking down the street type stuff. And you have different suits on, you have different parts. You're in the conference room over here, you're in the lobby over there, you're at the courtyard over there, blah, blah, blah. But you just did it all in one day. Just a little thing in terms of, because it may be daunting to, make it look professional and then spend a lot of time taking these professional pictures. You could do a lot of professional pictures in one day and just pepper it in. You pepper it in as you go along.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I've been thinking about I didn't have that exact idea in mind, but I've been thinking about more or less what I was going to do to just get it going, get the ball rolling on it. I've been more or less contemplating that quite a bit. But thank you to everybody for all the birthday wishes. Do appreciate each and every one of you. We got caught up with super chats and all kind of other questions. I didn't even think I got around to the question I wanted to ask about how did the
COVID affect,
beer bug affect your business?
So I work in the construction industry, right? That's kind of like my main thing. That's the main thing, right? So construction sites got shut down in 2020, as you may imagine, right? And also travel got shut down in terms of my sales gig, if you will. So I can't go out there and I can't hustle directly. different people have different skills. Some people are great on the phone. Some people are great with keeping up. Like if you're the kind of person who's naturally, there's a personality type. They're great on, again, that thing called extroverted feeling. They're very good with caring and thinking about fairness, and they actually care when they ask somebody, how's your daughter's softball game? I don't care about your daughter nor her softball game. So where I do well in terms of this sales thing is in the closing aspect. And the closing, beyond just closing well, I close well in person. So I know how to dominate a space, dominate a room, and so on and so forth. So I can't travel, boom, all that stuff gets undercut from me. Okay. So I can't show up there in person and intimidate them into closing. I'm saying this tongue in cheek. I don't actually intimidate them. I just impress the shit out of them. Okay. How about that? So I couldn't do that. I could not, therefore, drum up business for the future. The clients themselves, job sites are shut down. Things slow down. Things almost grinded to a halt. Both, and also from my, my company as well. Those are the disadvantages. What are the advantages? In other words, the advantages are going to come through from what you learn and how you pivot and so on and so forth. I started learning this whole thing about giving presentations remotely. Now, anybody, you could be like, what do you mean learn about giving presentations remotely? Because the thing about closing a deal is different from just talking. I could talk, but when you are in person, like for example, the video I made about being the most comfortable person in the room and how that you're able to influence people there, they need to feel, you need to actually share the same space, right? Such that that person that's the most comfortable person in the room, relaxed, calm, and so on and so forth, confident. If you're not in the same room with them, it's hard to project that, right? So how do you project this same kind of thing over a Zoom call, right? How do you, those kinds of things is what I started getting back to the drawing board to learn. How do I also, because I have to demonstrate certain products, right? I don't have to, but I think that it works. So I started making videos of myself demonstrating the products. The company has a catalog of demo videos, if you will, that I could have played, but no, that's BS. Not good enough, right? For me, it doesn't make the points that I want to make, and it's a little too polished, right? You know, that kind of too polished, too branded kind of videos. Like, no, I want you to see me, I want it to be a little rough, and I wanted to get the kind of points I want to get across. I want there to be some humor and so on and so forth. So I recorded a bunch of videos of me, demoing this particular product so that I could then show them during the presentation. And then I got into doing that thing, making them comfortable remotely is quite different from doing it in person. And there's a different kind of way. Now you got to use your voice a lot, right? You got to use your voice a lot. The things that I've learned from Jordan Belfort, shout out to the Wolf of Wall Street, about how you project your voice, how you bring it down. Like, you could project your voice, to show excitement, right? Basic, like, this is really, really excited, da, 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 da. You bring it down to, bring him into a secret. Like, you know what? And even if you don't get that 30%, you're still, right?
You even did that online with a demonstration video. You still did the lean in and whisper to him. You still did all of those different tactics.
Yeah. Lean in and whisper to them like that. And then you do those kinds of, I call it the puppy dog rolling over, right? We're like, fair enough, right? I mean, good deal. I mean, that makes sense, right? That kind of a thing. And
you don't, I don't even think you understand the degree in which you are a natural born salesman, man. One thing I got to ask you about this, shout out to the lead attorney down there. One thing I got to ask you about, when you, I forgot the woman's name, but you had a woman on, y'all were looking at the clip about the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, the actual guy, Jordan Belfort. And he was having a discussion with some other sales guru guy whose name I don't remember. They were having a debate. Not even a debate. They just they were brainstorming or just talking about different strategies. And one guy is saying, everybody's a buyer. Everybody's a buyer. And I think Jordan Belfort said, well, if you're selling fish and they don't want fish, they're not a buyer. Why are you saying everybody's a buyer? He was like, no, they're I think Jordan Belfort was saying they're not a buyer, but he was saying, no, everybody's a buyer. I ended up not being able to finish watching it. But what was the conclusion of that? Because the other guy, who he seemed to not be making that much sense. Somebody say his name, Grant Cardone, in there. He seemed to not be making as much sense. And I think you were along the line. I think you were more in agreement with Jordan Belfort. But so how did that conclude? Or what was the final conclusion? Or what was your takeaway, I guess? Because they probably wasn't a final conclusion, because they probably just disagreed in methodology. So just explain that what point was the guy making about trying to sell to someone and viewing everybody as a buyer, even though they're not even in the market for what it is that you're selling?
Okay, so it was first of all, the situation is that which they just want to disagree. The Grant Cardone guy wants to always say the opposite of what Jordan says, right? It's like, oh no, that's not a good question. Oh no, I disagree. Those kinds of things, whereby it always became a, rather than a and, right? Yes, and it became a no and or a yes but, right? That kind of a thing, where they're not collaborating. And then also Jordan Belfort, rather than chill, because Grant Cardone is a very high energy kind of wild guy, rather than chill and just let it flow, Jordan was trying to control Grant Cardone. You don't try to do that kind of a thing. Not that Jordan ended up looking better at the end of the day. But here's the thing. Grant Cardone is the kind of person that is all about marketing. In other words, he focuses on the top of the funnel, right? The top of the funnel. Just have as many people to talk to as possible, okay? Somebody will buy. Jordan Belfort is more of I have a target and I'm going to finesse them, okay? How do I finesse them? How do I know when to go too far? He was asking these questions about the sweet spot and those kinds of questions to Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone is like, no, there's no sweet spot, right? The thing is, Grant Cardone could have agreed that, yes, conversational skills are important and so on and so forth. And, however, right, you need a big top of the funnel and you need several products to sell, right? Which is an important thing as well. You can't just be like, I only have penthouses, It's like, no, I got penthouses and I have 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, I got studio apartments, right? I got a sales training thing for $5 a month. I got a sales training thing for $50 a month. I got a personal training service for $50. I got for $500, that kind of a thing. That way you can have the flow. That's Grant Cardone's kind of philosophy. Have a lot of products, have a big top of the funnel, make people know you, and then all that stuff about the special little key in order to, neuro-linguistic programming and all that other kind of stuff in order to just always close people. That was the main thing there. So there was something to be gotten from both of them, with Wolf of Wall Street being mainly about how do I focus on the person who's right in front of me and how do I do that verbal jujitsu. And Grant Cardone is like, stop it. You need to be a businessman that is known, that markets a lot, with a lot of products and a big top of the funnel.
It sounded like you were implying that that it got even more contentious from where I stopped watching. They didn't. How much of an argument did it turn into? It was like at the early stages of it when I stopped.
Yeah, it turned into enough of an argument whereby later on, at some point, Grant Cardone challenged, and obviously it was all tongue in cheek, but it got heated enough where they were like, you know what, we should make this like a boxing match, we should do like a UFC fight, that kind of a thing. It was still tongue in cheek, but it was kind of aggro enough where that was inserted as a way of kind of calming things down. And also after the fact, many people made videos about it, and Grant Cardone is talking smack about Wolf of Wall Street talking smack about Grant Cardone, so on and so forth. Here's the thing. And the thing is, Grant Cardone is not for everybody.
They had a beef where they were making response videos and retaliation videos.
Yep.
They was in the same type of junk we see in the Black Manosphere. They got
same type of junk we see in the Black Manosphere. And it helped both of their numbers, as it tends to do. Beef is good. Now, Grant Cardone is not for everybody. Neither is my mode for everybody as well. There's some other crazy guy called Dan Pena, who is always about kicking you in the ass. That is my kind of modus operandi. Look, I don't really care about your feelings per se, and I don't really care where you end up. You know what I mean? But you should be kicked in the ass always, right? I listen to Dan Pena to kick me in the ass, regardless of how I'm doing comparatively, because I don't care how I'm doing comparatively. Let me say that again. I don't care how I am doing comparatively. Only I know the acres and acres of land which I have uncultivated, right? So only you know the acres and acres of land which you have uncultivated. So you should constantly be kicking your ass. Never be comfortable. Never say, well, I'm doing well relative to this. Never say, well, I'm doing well relative to this statistic or so on and so forth. And now, if that's not your speed, then there are other people that you can listen to. In other words, I'm not so stupid that I think that everybody operates in this mode. No. But for me, always kick yourself in the ass. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about my feelings either. I don't care about relatively what I'm doing relative to everybody else. I know that I'm still a bitch inside, right? And I got to wake up every morning and kill that inner bitch, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. I'm not even 1% of where I could be. And I know that. And anybody else, and this is something that you would know within yourself, if you know that you have, I've cultivated 50 acres, but you have another 50 acres that you've not cultivated, then you should shut up. You're a bitch, kick yourself in the ass, and go for it. That's my mode. More of drill sergeant, crazy type person. Nothing personal, because I don't care about your feelings anyways.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it, man. That was you just gave a hell of a motivational speech there, Ike. Hell of a motivational speech. Shout out to, I don't know for sure, but I believe somebody sent a Cash App, and it was Little Big Nate. Says for hashtag thumbnail God strikes again salute. Shout out to Little Big Nate. Appreciate the Cash App. Little Big Nate. Oh man, let's see. We got a good topic here. Well, let me glance at something really quick. We talked about the chaos, handling the chaos and the uncertainty and the responsibility of being a business person, and how, yes, it's true, everybody is not necessarily cut out for that. But see, the route that I want to go, and it sort of goes back to the whole solopreneur conversation that we had before, the whole solopreneur thing. And I think that's a difficult one too, when yes, it would vary depending on what somebody is doing, what the day job is. I think this is the part that you talked about when my mic wasn't working. You talked about it would vary what the job is, what is the day job versus what is your solopreneur endeavor. How much time is the day job taking versus how much time the solopreneur endeavor is taking. And what it would ultimately come down to is, you talked about different unique brands of income. Unique brands of income. Are they outside of the box? Let's speak on that for a moment. When somebody is doing something, they have outside of the box income versus the regular job, and how they can take the outside of the box income and ultimately, I'm fumbling here because I'm trying to think of the perfect example. No, let me start. Give me an example of outside of the box income, and then that'll lead us down the path. What is the example? I'll ask you. What is the example of somebody who has some type of outside of the box income versus their day job that is more structured or stable? What's the example of outside of the box income?
Okay. I think I gave my example before, where it's like, okay, I'm providing a service to people for whom my day job involves selling them a product. So I sell a product, and then I also have a service, right? And there's conflict of interest in that regard. Outside of the box would also involve that app that I mentioned, whereby you're a call center, but it's through your cell phone, and it's an app. You don't have to go into a call center somewhere and sit down and do a 9 to 5. It's just like Uber, but for call centers. You log in, and then things go on. And Snuggles just gave you an example, OnlyFans and so on and so forth, which people do. They leverage that, right?
No, porno, that would be inside the box.
Yeah, but let me see. Is this? No, that's the wrong. No, that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. There you go. I'll learn to get it better next time. Now, let's go through in a systematic way the factors that I mentioned. I said that it's going to depend on the job, it's going to depend on money, and then it's going to depend on your personality. I said there are two factors. I'm separated the job factor into two of them. I say, what job, right? In other words, there are certain jobs that are more quittable. And by the way, when I say you quit that job, it doesn't mean that you should quit the job completely. Maybe you need to switch jobs, right? So you have a side gig, right? It may be one of these out of the box side gigs. You're developing this particular app for service, for car. Let's say you take the idea of Uber and you take it into Zimbabwe or something, right? It's not there yet. And then you are able to start the Uber of Zimbabwe. You don't need to be in Zimbabwe, obviously. It's an app, it's a technology. You just need to, find people. I'm sure people are doing transportation in Zimbabwe already, right? So it's like, hey, here's what we'll do. Maybe you give them cars, maybe you don't give them cars. Whatever the arrangement is, you're doing that Uber thing, and then it starts picking up. Now,
I'm laughing because it was something on the internet a few years ago. It was called African memes or something like that, with a lot of really bad stereotypical African jokes. And when you said an African, Zimbabwe Uber or whatever, all of those memes popped in my head. But anyway, I'm not going to go there. I'm sorry. That's why I was laughing. I had those memes in my head. Carry on.
Yeah. And you know what? Before I go there, let me sew up something that I said, because I was referring to it as though people have watched this video that I made, which is called. Basically, the idea is this: you do a lot of self-destructive behavior as a man if you're not achieving your potential. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anybody ever gets close to achieving their potential. Okay. We also when we went into the personality realm, we said, hey, you've got an IQ below 100 and certain other things. We're not talking about you. You're not listening to this podcast, and you're also not in the chat. However, if you are 100 and above, some people over here are at least 115 and so on and so forth. Got your 2 arms, got your 2 legs, probably raised in the United States. In other words, you have opportunity. You're educated. You are barely ever reaching your potential, because you represent a human being that has rarely ever existed in terms of the opportunities, the nurturing, the nutrition that's available to you, the freedom that's available to you, and so on and so forth. So it is a tough slug to maximize the potential of an over 110 IQ person who has all these advantages, right? However, when you do not push yourself in that particular direction, what tends to happen? You start using this energy, which is there to be cultivated, which is there to use into the cultivation of your talent, into self-destructive behaviors, both mentally and also outwardly. That's why we see people, for example, celebrities or whatever, everybody looks from the outside. And that's why I say I don't like this whole relative comparison bullshit, right? Everybody looks from the outside and says, oh, they have 100 acres cultivated, using this acreage analogy, but they have 1,000 acres worth of potential. So people like Michael Jordan, who keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, is because they know that there's like another 900 acres which is not cultivated, which is going fallow, which is full of weeds. And if they don't push, guess what? Now they start talking about maybe the white man, or maybe they start talking about, complaining about, maybe it's women they're complaining about. Maybe they start doing drugs. Maybe they start hanging out with some unsavory lawyers who like to go to Vegas and snort cocaine off the cracks of blah, blah, blah. All kinds of things like that, which happen in men over and over again, is hugely a result of them not pushing themselves to cultivate that talent. As I said, to be a human being over 110 IQ in the West today, it's almost impossible to reach your full potential, right? Hence, you should never be comparing yourself with anybody else other than the acreage, which you know. As I said, I wake up every morning knowing I'm a bitch, knowing I got to kill my inner bitch inside. Doesn't matter where I am relative. Doesn't matter what 1%, what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fact is, if I don't push, if I don't kick myself in the butt, if I don't if I do not conquer every day, then guess what's going to happen? I'm going to turn around and start doing self-destructive things. Okay, now let's go back to the idea of the factors, two of which have to do with the job. Number one, I said the job itself. Are you a fry cook, right? Which that's easily quittable, right? Versus are you on the other end having a job that offers a lot of freedom, okay? Such as high ticket commission only sales, right? High ticket commissions only sales means you kill what you eat. You get to decide how you kill it. You don't have to show up at a particular building. Your time and your space are free, right? So that maybe it's not something you want to just drop quickly, right? So that is a factor in the equation 100%. The other factor, which is still job related, is does the job also complement your side hustle, right? I've given my example where it's like, and there are many other examples, but this is my own personal experience whereby if I'm selling a product to people who also need a service, which I offer, then the job gives me a situation whereby I'm coming in with a brand name. The job has a brand, right? And also, this gets me into the door, let's say. The fact that I have a lot of know-how and knowledge in the service aspect, okay, the fact that I'm a gardener, let's use the gardening example. I have a gardening service, but I'm selling lawn care products. The fact that I'm a gardener, do you think I'll be a better salesman or a worse salesman of that product?
Yeah, you would be definitely a better salesman. Yeah, through the
100%. And as we know, learning never stops, right? It keeps on compounding and compounding. Like you mentioned the other day in one of your streams talking about the different kinds of carpenters, right? There's a guy that's just swinging a hammer, and then there's a guy that needs to estimate the job and so on and so forth, right? And you keep that, even that guy that estimating job and so forth, there's levels of that position as well, right?
Yeah.
There's levels.
There's people that are better estimators, because a bad estimator will cut into all of his profit.
Exactly.
So he may end up not even able to pay the hammer swinging guys because he didn't estimate properly. Now he has to eat a lot of costs. So yes. There's definitely levels to that. Absolutely.
So when it comes to complementing your job, right? The point is they both work to make each other better. If you are a gardener, you do gardening, you're going to learn more from the products that you're selling because, I didn't know that what this chemical did, or that it's a substitute for the ammonia, blah, 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 right? Maybe I'll incorporate that into my lawn care service. Also, as a lawn care service provider, you can talk more intelligently with your clients and you can solve particular problems that they have. They could say, hey, you know what? Last time I brought this kind of product, it didn't work. And you can say, hey, you know what? Because that kind of grass is not the such and such and such. As a matter of fact, all you need is this one thing here. That whole suite of products you bought before does not work. All you need is this one little thing and it'll take care of that. And by the way, I have a horticultural specialist that can handle your flowers so your wife is happy and you can blah, 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 right? That kind of a thing. So that's the complementing thing aspect is, does it complement? And also, can you find a job that complements your side hustle? If you are indeed somebody that's in the kind of an app development world, can you find a job whereby you are kind of associated loosely with LinkedIn, with Google, right? So that it allows you to go to certain places, so that you can attend certain conferences, so that you can put a Google badge there, and then you make contacts, and then what do you know? You also have an app of your own. Now, conflict of interest comes into the picture here. But screw conflict of interest, right? Again, it's almost like a military mindset you have to have because there's danger. You're not going out there to kill anybody. We're not splitting babies in half over here. We're simply talking about you got to think outside the box, and you can't be all legalistic with your mindset. Following rules, guess what? Rules were made to keep incumbent powers in place. Rules were made to make you think, or let's take a sidestep from rules and talk about something such as money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy is equivalent of saying this particular tool, like a shovel, doesn't make you happy. Therefore, let me have all the shovels, right? You don't need no shovels. Don't think about having shovels. Nah, it's all good. Just forget the shovel thing. I get to dig all the holes and yeah, blah, 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 right? Screw that kind of a thinking. And also, let's take side step back on track to the rules. The rules which are there to be broken. Rules are there because you have certain people who have entrenched interests, right? One of the biggest rules we have, for example, is the central bank, right? Let's call it the Fed in America, right? Which is a consortium of bankers come together to protect their interests. They created something called the central bank, the Fed, right? And now we're stuck with it. Okay. So in the same way, you have a consortium of people, they come together, they bribe or influence or lobby or whatever you want to call it, some local politician, they write certain things into the law that says only X, Y, and Z are allowed to put a post in the corner of Elm Street. Fuck that shit. If you want to go put posts in corner of Elm Street and you're able to create your own concentric circles of protection such that you can get away with it, go do it. If conflicts of interest are written in your employee arrangement, guess what? They're not going to kill you. Worst that could happen is if they find out and if they want to push it enough, you get fired. F that shit, right? It's not the Sabbath, as Jesus said, okay, was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. What was he saying? He was basically saying that these rules in the book, right? These rules in the book, even God's own laws, okay, were made for you. You twist them and you bend them around because you are a human being made in the image of God, to use that whole analogy. Same thing here. You are a human being. How about your rights? How about your ability to make things happen outside the box, right? So there's going to be conflict of interest when you're going to be doing things like this, where you're like, okay, I'm working a 9 to 5 or I'm working for this company and I'm also doing my side thing. If you stay within that box, you get what you deserve. Screw the box. Fuck those people. They made those rules to keep you trapped anyways. So those are the two things I have to say about those two factors, which are the job. You can comment on them and then we can go into the money factors.
Oh, no, I got nothing to add to what you're saying. I had a completely separate question that was taken in a completely different direction. But if you want to go into the money factors of it all, then yeah, you can definitely go right into that. Because I came up with a completely separate question that would take us in a completely different route. So you can go ahead and finish that up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
100%. And by the way, I got Old Man on the stream later. He hasn't responded to it, but I already created the stream, so let's hope he shows up. I got Obsidian.
You gotta when it comes to Obsidian, sometimes you gotta do like I don't know if you're familiar with William Lane Craig, Richard Dawkins. William Lane Craig did the empty chair debate where he challenged Richard Dawkins to a debate, and Richard Dawkins wouldn't debate him. Richard Dawkins refused to debate him, but whenever William Lane Craig went somewhere to speak, he would have an empty chair next to him. He said, that's for Richard Dawkins if he ever shows up. With Obsidian, you got to do like the empty chair thing. You got to put the chair there. He may show up, he may not. Especially with those night streams. If it's at night, if it's like around 9 p.m., he probably gonna fall asleep on you. So yeah, you gotta. I see. You got to be prepared with a backup plan. Perhaps I'm messing with Obsidian. People don't know. You got to get a morning show. He's going to show up. He's going to be there, ready to go for the morning show. You do a night show with Obsidian is 50-50. No, I'm joking. I'm joking with the old man. he didn't let Brother Xavier hanging a few times. He'll fall asleep on you. You set a night show for him, but
let's move on to the money factor. So I said, okay, it's going to depend, because the question again is, when should I quit my day job? It is something that I push against. People trying to quit stuff. I'm like, nah, you need to find out a way of keeping faucets open. Don't be like, oh, I got this faucet open. It's got a steady flow. And now let me just go ahead and close it and move on to that's a little bit, and there's certain personalities who tend to do this more than others. They want to just jump from one thing to the next, Like, no, if multiple streams of income is the holy grail in this landscape, which it is, because there's nobody who gets comfortable without a couple of streams. Even if it's just you and your 401k, that's still a couple of streams, right? If it's just you, and then back in the day when they used to have pensions, that's still a couple of streams. You have to think about it that way. So we went through the job factors. What job is it? And also, does your job complement your side hustle? Then there are the money factors. The first of which, you need to make a real-time apples to apples comparison of money. Because some people may say, I I just made 100K on my side hustle. I'm making 100K on my regular job. Let me quit. It's like, no, stop. Your regular job.
I think that's literally how I think. I if I can make 100K on my side hustle, I'm going to quit the regular job so I can make 200K on this side hustle.
Yeah. But then that's the job side of the equation, which is you have to go back to that job side. That's why it's a multivariate equation here. When do I quit my job? Yes or no? I said you have to consider all these things together, taking you back to algebra class, right? You don't just jump from factor to factor without they all matter. So if you have to set up your regular job therefore such that it complements, or your regular job is not the kind of job that is easily quittable. Yes, if you're a fry cook, quit it tomorrow, right? If you make it, leave there because you need to free up your space and your time. But if you're in a job where your space and your time is freed up, then you may want to consider the fact that your job is giving you 401k matching, which adds 5% to your income, right? Add that in there. As men, we tend not to think about the health insurance thing, but it is important, especially as you go up there in age, or if you want to have a family, that kind of a thing. Yes, it's good to have a health insurance when you get your wife pregnant, that kind of thing, right? And what does it cost? In other words, if you're going to go private, look at Cobra. What does Cobra cost? It's not cheap. $400 a month or some kind of craziness like that. Consider that. Add up everything that you're getting from your regular job, and then look at the costs of your regular job. In other words, the time, the commute, wear and tear on your car, right? Also, the tax situation. Your W-2 job, as we know, puts you in a certain kind of tax situation where you get taxed more, right? But when you are a, DBA or LLC or incorporated, all kinds of things get written off. I'm sure BernardRiley is writing up pimp cups and shots of Hennessy and everything. Okay, I know some people that write off super chats.
Yeah. According to my taxes, every suit you ever saw me wear was a $2,000 suit. According to my taxes, I mean, wardrobe. There's I got a $30,000 wardrobe expense with the business. Everything.
There you go. Sound like that pastor or one of those pastors that you have those pastor depositions where he's talking about, anyways, those guys are interesting. Well,
shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson in the building. Says good information. Start a SEPIRA with your small business with FBGRX Index Fund, Fidelity Blue Chip Growth, #Ike. O'Shea came through dropping the game in knowledge. This is low key, sort of like I didn't even think about this until now, but it's low key. We do a spinoff of O'Shea's Hall of Game, so to speak. This is low key a spinoff of that, what we've been doing here. But shout out to O'Shea in the building. I don't know if all right, let's get that right there. Somebody said Creflo O'Reilly, cut it out. But yeah, no, I get you. I get you on all those different factors and all those different things that come into play. One thing that I want to ask you about, I always said Hall of Fame coming back, Hall of Game coming back next month. That's good stuff. Definitely need it. One thing that I wanted to get to, this is a theory, thought process. That just got blurry. Something that I always say, that the business class in Black America are comfortably working for companies. Remember when I said the difference between your baby and taking care of your baby, but when you're working with somebody else, you're taking care of somebody else's baby, essentially. I've always said that the business class in Black America, the people who are project managers for some Fortune 500 company, have the business acumen to be running a business that they own with employees. If they can tell some huge company, what to do with their money and how and spend their money for them and manage their money for them. Clearly, they got the business acumen to have, yes, I'll use the term, a black business and employ black people and do the and basically essentially do the whole works, do the same thing essentially, but you're doing it for yourself and growing and building your own thing. And it's my theory, my position that the business class, our business class, is comfortable working, making 100,000, 150,000, 250,000 or so working in corporate white America versus building their own. And that's part of the reason why I'm very strongly on the side of the aisle to where I don't care if you're making 50,000 at a regular job working for somebody else, once you get to the point where you can make 50,000 working for yourself, get out of there and go hard for your own stuff. That's why I'm on that end. Yeah. But you kind of you dealt with that and you touched on that pretty good. And there's a number of factors and variables in that. But what do you think about my theory? I don't think I ever asked you about this, about whether or not the business class in Black America are comfortable working for white people making hundreds of thousands of dollars where they could possibly roll their sleeves up and make millions working for themselves and employing their people.
Let's not pick on the brothers. But 100%, if you're comfortable, you're a bitch ass nigga. I said it again. If you're comfortable, you're a bitch ass nigga, right? And why am I saying this? I already explained why I say stuff like this, because this is what I tell myself, right? Because when I wake up every morning, I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be able to pull this and pull that and pull the other thing? I'm like, shut up, kill that inner bitch every day. The first thing you got to kill is that fear, and why are you killing the fear? It's because you're in a place that's uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, if you wake up like, big smile on your face, and I got my life, then you're not doing anything worthwhile, okay? So whether you be a black person or so on and so forth, and you're over there getting your $200,000 check, and you got your BMW in your driveway, and you're comfortable, well, you're a bitch-ass nigga too, right? It doesn't matter. And here's the thing, and it should be clear by now, I don't care what level you are, you're still a bitch-ass nigga, right? Because
I'm trying to figure out who does not meet the
nobody. This is Sparta, motherfucker.
There's nobody who's leaped over the bitch ass nigga hurdle in your mind.
This is you and I know you know why I put it this way. You are a human being with full capabilities, with your full faculties in the Western world, in the modern day era. Nigga, it's almost impossible to maximize your potential, right? You're a bitch ass nigga if you're comfortable. Go make yourself uncomfortable. That's what I'm saying. Go make yourself uncomfortable. Go do something where you're shitting your pants. Go in a room where you feel like you don't belong. Again, I always talk about the life is a use it or lose it proposition. Go stress your bones, stress your muscles, stress your brain cells, stress your immune system. That's how systems grow. Otherwise, what happens? They don't stay put. They go backwards. They atrophy. It's entropy, and it's also the way biological and all complex systems works, whether the individual organism, individual cell, or the ecosystem as a whole. You need to stress the system, otherwise it atrophies. So I don't give a crap where you are. You know that you're a bitch inside. You know that there's something else that you could be doing. I don't want to hear no damn excuses, because I'm talking to men again, right? Talking to men. So if we go back, I 100% agree with you that people should want to push, okay, and go into this other lane. The thing is, they don't want to just completely jump ship. And then there's some of us who highly believe in the multiple streams of income such that we want to create a scenario where we can keep all streams open. Where I even said, hey, I'm paying my private employees to help me with my other gig, right? Who said I couldn't do that, right? Like, where is it written that I cannot employ somebody to do my day job? Right, because there are aspects of the day job.
That's funny, man. That's a concept out of this world that I don't think anybody really thinks like that. You know, if you're doing a job, even if it's a job where you're not stuck at a physical location, the company is supposed to provide your assistant, and they're supposed to pay her $30K a year to I don't know, make brochures or whatever or pamphlets for you. You know, that's typically how it works. That is a very unique and foreign concept of somebody working a day job and then independently hiring somebody to ultimately help them with that, but that person also works for you in your side business that I think makes just as much as the day job. They work for you there, so you're probably just paying them a little bit more, or just worked into their salary that you're going to help me with both of these businesses.
It's a task. It's another task.
You.
Yeah, just another task. Or also I have, because I mentioned, I have employees, but I also have contractors, because not every time do I need a particular skill, right? So again, I need some research. Recently, this just happened. I need some research done into like HVAC kind of stuff on the engineering end of things, right? How does one, what are these particular units, the dehumidifier, the air handler unit, and how does one size the ducts and calculate the friction loss and blah, 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 blah. I don't have time to do it. I pay somebody, and this is for my sales job, in order to be able to converse intelligently and solve a particular problem for a client and close the deal. I pay this guy and he does it. You're not good with spreadsheets, and spreadsheets are part of your job. Ethiopia, Brazil, so on and so forth. You're helping these people. You're paying them more than they would otherwise get. Now you got to find the people, but there are people who can help you find these people, okay? When I say find people, I mean people who are competent and will actually do the job. You don't like doing spreadsheets at the end of every month for some particular aspect of your job. You don't want to do some kind of research. You say, hey, you do this, create a PowerPoint for me, link all the necessary documents, and sure, make a video for me teaching me how to do this. I'll give you $20 an hour, 4 hours. You give this guy $80, he has saved you 8 hours of your time, because he's good at doing that kind of stuff, so it takes him 4 hours. He has saved you 8 hours of your time for $80 freaking dollars. Okay, why are you not doing that? $80, and you're not. This is not slave labor. $20 an hour for some person in Brazil or in Ethiopia, they're like, heck yeah. You tell me you're gonna give me. I spend 4 hours and I do this research for you, and I get $80. God damn yeah! Here's my Cash App. I do this shit all the time. Okay, so the idea of sidestepping out into just dropping the job for now we're talking about those people who are making $200K a year, okay, and they're bitch assness, okay. The idea of dropping, just made, well, congratulations. The idea of I mean, a round of applause, good stuff.
Right.
And it's another key thing too. Always celebrate success, right? Like, in other words, you need to, if there's anything in you and anything in us, it may even be because this person is your ex and she did you dirty, right? If she's successful, if she succeeds in something, celebrate it. In other words, if you ever find yourself in your heart wishing ill towards anybody, I'm not saying that this is something that's so far-fetched or you're a bad person. No, this is the human condition. This happens, right? Use it as an opportunity to check yourself. Use it as an opportunity to meditate upon that state that you're in, to shake it away, because that thing will kill you. It'll block your opportunities. You cannot take risks, and you cannot believe in yourself, because that emotional hang-up that you have and that you're projecting towards someone else really is about you, okay? Again, I'm big on the whole meditation, mastering your subjective consciousness, and so on and so forth. And as I just saw that $1 million sub content there, I don't care if you have legitimate reasons. As I said, it could be your ex and quote unquote, they did you dirty. Like a baby mama terrorist, like shout out to Mr. Palmer, right? I don't care who the person is or what legitimate reasons you might think that they have for you to be spewing out venom. The fact that you're spewing out venom should be an indication that you're screwing yourself. As they say, hate is like taking poison and hoping that your enemy dies. No, you're the one dying. You're holding yourself back. You should always use that opportunity, and it will come back several times. You may wake up one morning and you're just on the wrong side of the bed, and now you're thinking bad thoughts about somebody. Stop and expatiate or excrete that out of your system, okay? So back to the $200,000 a year bitch ass niggas. Here's why they don't want to move, because they're comfortable. However, if they follow my stepwise type of process, whereby it's like, go start something whereby you have your own, and these are the kind of people who they get legalistic, like, oh, but there's a conflict of interest, and I'm tied up here by the white man, by the gray man, by the Asian man, by the black man. I don't give a damn what the color of some other man is that is tying you up. No, it's your bitch assness that's tying you up, okay? So quit that bullshit. Go get a certification. Some people are like, oh, I can't start an app because I work for LinkedIn and LinkedIn says I can't. Shut up. No, they're not. Look, LinkedIn has many legal things to worry about that their legal counsel is worried about. They're not going to check whether is this guy starting an app. Hell no, they're not checking. Call it the Nigerian in me or whatever, but this kind of idea of just staying in the lane, like I'm just gonna follow the rules, that's bullshit. Get the hell out of here. No one's out there looking to see whether or not you're starting an app. Go start the app. Go get their side gig. It doesn't matter if there is because the golden handcuffs tends to be the issue with these particular kinds of people, right? They get paid well and they write all kinds of legal crap into the document. But look, companies don't have time to look into to be checking on you every time and see what you're doing with your personal time. Not really. So go out there and start it. And if you do it in this kind of a piecewise way, whereby now you're making the same amount of money, you can then leverage, because when you go into that negotiation, you say, you know what, I want to be working from home now, or I want my space and time in some other way to be freed up. You have something behind you, which is another $200,000 coming from your side gig that gives you the impetus to be able to make that negotiation from a position of strength. So that is my piece of advice there to the $200,000 a year bitch ass niggas.
I love that nobody can quite leap over the bitch ass nigga hurdle. Everybody struggles to get over it.
Every day. That's our prayer. That's our God. Oh, kill the bitch ass nigga in me in the name of Amen.
Amen. Man, good stuff. Shout out to Melody. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody who came through. Love doing these business streams. Kill Deuce in the building says, how much is too much for paid mentorship? You can never pay too much, you bitch ass. Okay.
I don't know. What do you think about paid mentorship?
That's Ike's real answer right there. He's gonna be politically correct, but that's his real answer. You bitch ass nigga, you can never pay too much.
With everything in look, I like to break things down to look. One, I said that there's a Nigerian in me. That's one thing, right? But you don't have to take it whole cloth. But you can say, hey, what is it about these Nigerians? Oh, maybe they're a little scammy. Maybe they're a little too capitalistic and crazy. But what can I get out of it, right? Don't go full Nigerian. Never go full Nigerian. Okay, it's dangerous. But full Nigerian. Don't go full Nigerian. No.
I know you saw Tropic Thunder when he was talking about actors playing retarded characters in the movie, and one actor had messed up his career because he went full retard. Like Forrest Gump was retarded, but he's also a war hero and an Olympic athlete. So he didn't go full. Tom Hanks didn't go full retard, but it was like Cuba Gooding Jr. in Radio. He was like, man, you went full retard. Never go full retard.
Yep.
Never go full Nigerian. Never go full Nigerian. That's the first thing I thought of. Never go full retard. Anyway, go ahead.
So there is a end that you're after. And when it comes to mentorship, one of the ends has to do with being around. In other words, there's a psychological thing mainly. And that's why I keep on saying this bitch ass nigga stuff, because most of the battles are internal. Okay. About 99% of it. That's why I said you're unshackled. You were not born with disabilities. You have an IQ over 110, most likely, if you're in this chat, right? You don't have to be the 160 people, right? Like shout out to Misogynoir, Mr. fucking physicist, blah, 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 that likes to troll you and all that kind of, but I'm sure he's a very smart guy.
He's starting to grow on me again. I've been
maybe we should bring him one of these weeks. We should bring him on and grill him. And then also maybe pick his brain about what the hell because he does some things that are quite interesting. Anyways.
No, I did actually. He told me what his last time he was on, I asked him what was his thesis about. Because, well, him in normal misogynoir fashion, he was talking shit about how most people, their thesis really isn't anything. It's just they're just basically they just did some research that their professor approved. So, because we were on the subject of Boyce Watkins, and he was like, I just read Boyce Watkins' PhD thesis, and it wasn't even a thesis. It didn't add anything new or interesting to the field. So and he's like, "Well, I just got my PhD," and I was like, "Okay, so you're about to tell us how you either invented or added some new research to the field of physics. So tell me how you captured lightning in a bottle. Go ahead." And then he explained what his PhD thesis was in, and it was actually interesting. I barely understood it, but it was interesting. So he actually is doing. He's actually smart, even though even though a layman like me has outwitted him in some debates on other topics. But he's really smart when it comes to his stuff, his field of study. But anyway.
Yeah, and he's gonna monetize it soon, and it's gonna be in Africa, and that whole thing about the third world, and to use that term, and investment opportunities. Oh, stuff is gonna happen because they leapfrog, right? They went straight from they didn't go through the line when it comes to telephony, for example. They went from no telephones to everybody has a cell phone, that kind of a thing. So when it comes to let's say the grid, right, the power grid, and all these kind of things, they're gonna go from no power to carbon nanotube, blah blah blah, because you don't have to go through the intermediate step of the West, that kind of a thing, right?
Oh, never thought about that. 100%. I never thought about that in terms of in the West, there's intermediate steps when people are, for lack of a better way to describe it, figuring shit out. But once the technology gets figured out and gets easy, are you saying that once it gets figured out and it's easy and okay, we know how to do this now and we can mass produce it, and then they may end up with it, even though all the intermediate steps to it, they didn't have to struggle around with. So that's interesting. They can go
that's how it happened. Yeah,
I never knew
mobile
that.
payment as well. They go from we don't have banks to we do have more mobile payment. We have M-Pesa, which is almost like a cryptocurrency. O'Shea can attest to this. If you go to Africa, the way people pay each other and the way people are quote unquote banked, very, very, it was and already leaps and bounds ahead of the West prior to us now doing the little things that we do with Cash App and so on and so forth. They have all kinds of ways of this mobile payment and all kinds of, cryptocurrencies as well. And also it dovetails with the need, right? So these people need stuff because they're not as empowered. So these technologies such as cryptocurrency that tend to give power back to the people get adopted quicker in the third world. That's a side kind of a thing. But the question there about paid mentorship, there's an end which you're trying to satisfy, which part of which is in the psychological side of things. There's a reason why people say go to a Rolls Royce dealership and smell the leather. Go pay some ridiculous amount for some suite one time. I did this at the Wynn. There was a suite at the Wynn. Just go to the Wynn and say, well, what's the suite? What's the maximum suite there? It's this crazy place, okay? It's ridiculous, right? And I spent like 3 nights there for this psychological reason, which dovetails with mentorship, because you want to kind of you want to be in the space, breathe the air, kind of move around with these people, because it's going to help you get over a particular psychological block. It's going to help you kill your inner bitch, right? Because once you see that, and once you really put yourself in that situation, there's certain things, in other words, people say visualize. Visualization is a form of training because it acclimates you to a certain sense of motor responses and so on and so forth. So you go, you train, you throw your punches, right? But also you want to visualize knocking out that opponent, because when you visualize knocking that opponent, your mind is going to trigger in you certain responses as to, well, what does it feel? What am I going to feel like when I knock him out? Or you get what I'm saying, right? We can induce sensory responses in ourselves. So now you're more used to the idea of you knocking him out or you getting punched by him, those kinds of a thing. And hence it makes you more likely. It is a way of training, right? So when you want to, and it goes into that whole thing of being the most comfortable person in the room, hence you want to go to the room first. You want to smell the room, taste the room, feel the room, such that you don't feel out of place. Then you can perform at your highest. If you are not, in other words, there's layers of fear that attack you whenever you're trying to pursue any endeavor. One of the layers of fear is lack of exposure. You don't feel like you belong there, right? it's not just performance anxiety of like, can I give the speech? Let's say it's a speech. Let's say it's a sales deal trying to close. In addition to the performance anxiety, you have the anxiety of, oh my God, I'm in a boardroom with a gold table. What the H, right? That kind of a thing. These guys are blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like I belong here. You don't want that to be part of what holds you back. Hence, through visualization and also through going to these kinds of places and also through mentorship, you can achieve this. So the point is this: you can pay to go stay in that room or go to this particular conference and so on and so forth. And then, but I don't necessarily see the paid mentorship thing as very valuable unless you are learning a particular skill, or if you're encapsulating what I talked about in this whole psychological thing about where it's like, I'm going to go to the Ritz-Carlton of all Ritz-Carltons, you know, I'm going to go to this particular hotel in France. I'm going to buy this particular guy a bottle of champagne for one day just so that I can absorb the environment and him, right? Sounded funny. And that will then help me with that particular fear, which is an encumbrance, a hurdle to get over when you're trying to achieve certain things. Remember, this is not woo, obviously, because I don't believe in that woo nonsense. This is real. That's why I just gave you the example of, like, you know, we know that when you visualize something or when you experience something, now you're acclimated. It becomes your baseline. If you're not acclimated, it now adds a layer of uncertainty, a layer of fear, a layer of discomfort, which you don't want to be there. You already have performance anxiety to begin with. So know your crap, but also be comfortable with the environment. Mentors and moving amongst people that move that way helps you to be comfortable. But you don't necessarily have to pay them. The only reason I would say to pay them is to be in a certain kind of environment with them, right? However you pay for advice, right? If you want to be like, hey, I got this, I want a brainstorming session with this particular person whom I know is a master marketer, right? I have these options. Here, Mr. Master Marketer, I know you charge $500 for 30 minutes. Here's $500. Here is my game plan. Give me, that way you're getting the most bang for your buck. Because trust me, getting that kind of advice on a pre-planned situation where you know what you're going to ask is worth every bit of that $500 for 30 minutes, which is equivalent to $1,000 an hour. It will, after all, push your company. So I mentioned two things: pay for the skill whereby you have a particular end that you're trying to meet. And then also you pay in order to put yourself in certain situations so that you can overcome the psychological discomfort.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I do got to make one correction to the person who said, I forgot who it was, who said that Kevin Samuels has 1 million subscribers now. Based off my devices that I'm looking at, you're incorrect. He only has 999K subscribers. So you are incorrect. You're off by 1,000 subs. He only has 999K. He does not have 1 million yet.
Yeah.
Someday he's gonna, he's going places. So he's someday, if he keeps at it, he'll have a successful YouTube channel someday if he just keeps at it. But speaking of Kevin Samuels, I'm just about to the point of wrapping this thing up. I got a lot of things I gotta get. Well, you got your meeting coming up pretty soon too, but I got things I gotta prepare for because, like I said, I'm catching a flight. Tomorrow morning, so I got to get everything set and ready to go today. Got to make sure I got everything I need. So, but one thing I do want to ask you, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you your thoughts on Kevin Samuels. This is off subject, by the way, but we're segueing into it because, somebody I mentioned Kevin Samuels approaching 1 million subs. What are your thoughts on Kevin Samuels' Men's Week experiment that he had going on thus far? What is your general takeaway and thoughts on that?
Okay, let me see if I can arrange it. As you know, I like to see where I'm going before I just start talking, right? So there's the one aspect which is of the marketing, the show, the production, the experiment, if you will. And then there is what we saw, right? Let's just keep it at those two. The experiment aspect, because I think that it is useful now, because he used to always have to say, go back 3 years ago when I talked to men, right? I'm sure you've heard him say that before, right? Mm-hmm. And
I was there 3 years ago when he was talking to men. So yeah, I know.
Yeah. So he would say, then now when people are like, oh, you only come after women or this or that, blah, blah, you're not harsh on the men. He would have to say, go back 3 years ago. Now he doesn't have to say that anymore. It's like, number one, the people whom are here now, of which he has many eyeballs, that is, can see in real time him doing that. Secondly, he can simply say, go back to last week, go back to last month as time progresses. And he may even then, haven't done this experiment now. The second part of the experiment is this. I'm sure he was skeptical about viewership and so on and so forth. However, now that he has a critical mass such that it really doesn't matter anymore what he does. Okay, so he could not have built to this point talking to men 100% because drama and women sell, right? It is what it is. Okay, if you have the stomach for it, go ahead and do it. I don't give a crap about drama, and I could care less about what women are talking about because, as I like to announce, I'm a chauvinist misogynist. Before anybody comes and attacks me with it, I'm going to tell you, everybody, you heard that? Snuggles, Aaron B, everybody, I'm a misogynistic chauvinist, okay? So I've preempted you on that strike. So I don't give a crap to deal with, to be, talking women crap over there. So he could not have got over the hump, though, with just talking about men because of the obvious reasons. But now that he has that critical mass, he can say anything. And I think that he has demonstrated with the 24,000 views talking to men that, oh, this can be done. This will stick. This is entertaining, so on and so forth, all that kind of crap, right? So that's the thing about the marketing aspect. Now he doesn't have to say go back to 3 years. And also he is seeing that, okay, he's got the critical mass where it can work. And then there is the what we saw. To be honest, asking for disagreements is a little bit
was my point. That was my point.
Of course, the point. Anybody that has a brain sees what's going on here. Okay, now so Kevin's a smart guy, so I'm sure he knows that disagreements is also what's gonna work. Right? So, and here's the thing too. Men should be able to take it. Men should be able to take the smoke. Men should be able to understand that. I mean, after there was a particular person in the first day that came in, I was like, why don't you just talk to them with a softer voice and be more, my friends, my fat baby mama friends, they don't like listening to you because
where's that guy now during Men's Week?
The thing is, even after Kevin did his whole because he comes at them, it's almost like he asked for disagreement, and then when they get on the phone, he sounds offended that they have a disagreement. So it's like I get it. He's just doing the show thing. It's he goes all smart, but I'm like, Kevin, you asked for disagreement. Anyways, so asking for disagreement is gonna bring it. It's gonna force because the things that he said are hard to disagree with, right? So what kind of results are you gonna get? What kind of men are gonna come up? So people come up and they're trying to pick certain things. They can't put their thoughts together online. It was all kind of entertaining. The women had a field day in the chat. I had my field day in the chat too, calling people bitch ass niggas, but that's just because
I keep trolling hard.
Look, trolling hard or the kinds of things that I just said right now, it just is what it is for me, but I understand fully it's not everybody's cup of tea, right? But fine, I'm not gonna switch. It's almost like the person saying, telling Kevin Samuels to switch his, no, I know what works.
That bugged the shit out of me. Like, how could you see somebody having this successful of a show, the thing that you did to become successful, now that you're successful, you need to scrap it and do something else, something that less successful people are doing. I was like, just from a pure business standpoint, that guy, he was just so off base. Just so stupid. If we just talking business. Now, if we're talking outcomes and results, that goes back to what you're saying about how giving people that kick in the ass, that putting foot to ass and not sugarcoating it. That's the other aspect of it. But it was just so cringeworthy just seeing a man criticizing an extremely successful man at what he's doing to be successful. Well, he needs to change it. You'll be more successful if you did this. Okay, so what he'll be at 2 million subs right now. Like it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But we are in agreement that the disagreements, asking for disagreements, you only certain type of men that got true disagreement with Kevin Samuels. I'm not talking about the people who just don't like him for whatever reason. I'm talking about those who have true, legitimate disagreements with what he's saying. It's going to be a bad crop of guys. That's just the reality.
Okay, so that's it. I mean, I've talked about the experiment, the marketing, the fact that it's able to work right now, and then what we saw was high. You know, we were going to get what we got if you're asking for disagreement, and but I think that it's necessary. In other words, here's one thing, okay? Because people always talk about other communities, right, and the standards that they have for men, and it's almost like they forget how these standards are inculcated. For God, it's like Jesus fucking Christ. It's by killing your inner bitch and being called a bitch ass nigga. That's how it works. Not by coddling people. Now it's fine that for people who care about fairness and comparison and making sure everybody feels good, yes, there's a place for that. Maybe at your Thanksgiving table with your mom and all that shit. But when it comes to men and production, fuck that shit. Okay? You go kill your inner bitch. You go, because you know the acreage of land which you're not cultivating. You know the capacities that you have which you're sleeping away, drinking away, having stupid conversations with stupid friends away, not taking risks, and so on and so forth, right? Being comfortable, whether you're a $200,000 a year bitch ass nigga or a $40,000 a year bitch ass nigga, it doesn't matter. You're still a bitch ass nigga. And everybody, including me, wakes up every day needing to kill that inner bitch ass nigga in us so that we can face the day, because you are a human being with your full faculties in the West. In a time where you're unshackled, it is almost impossible to meet your human potential. So don't tell me that you're comfortable or anywhere near being comfortable and you're done. And that's it.
All right. As we wrap up, Aaron B. He said he came in late, so he asked the most surface level question, but a title question. So we're gonna close out with a hard, solid answer, where you have to assign a numerical value, a universal numerical value on how much is enough to quit your day job. But no, you don't have to answer it, Dave. You can answer it however you see fit. But he's just asking, I guess, do whatever you want to do with the question, but he probably just wants to, I think, and by the way, summary, a general summary would probably be good.
I'll give a general summary, and maybe I may even throw a number just to satisfy that particular
Yeah, you got to satisfy the people that want a number.
Yeah, they want a number. And also to clarify something that you were saying earlier about, people who disagree with Kevin Samuels. It's not disagreeing with Kevin Samuels, it's disagreeing with what Kevin Samuels said on the show, because obviously when he does a show, he wants you to stick on topic. He said things on that show which are very hard to disagree with, right? Be productive. When you have production, then you can negotiate. Blah, 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 blah. What am I going to disagree with? Okay, so he was trying to dredge bottom of...
But my mouthpiece though, I don't got to be as productive because my mouthpiece is good. I had somebody come on my show and say that. Anyway, so, carry on.
I mentioned, this whole thing is a decision as important as when do I quit my day job is going to be multivariate one. It's going to be multifactorial, So y is equal to f of x. Y is a function of x, y, z, right? What is the x, y, and z? It has to do with your... Sorry, not y is equal to... let me be algebraically correct. Y equals a function of ABC. What's ABC, right? A is what job it is, right? The job, and does the job complement your other job? B is the money, apples to apple comparison, right? Of the money that you're going to be making there, right? So the cost of the job, the fact that you have to pay for daycare at the job, and the fact that you're taking away from time and opportunity cost and so on and so forth. Factor all that in when you're comparing with the other money that you're making, right? And then also the principle that multiple streams of income is always, especially if you're moving into this whole area now of entrepreneurship and so on and so forth, and given the economic landscape the way it is, the kind of lifestyle that people want to live, in their head, they need a lot more money to live it, So what are you going to do? You either go get the money, or you understand the reality of the lifestyle and you start saving money, you start cutting things, you start understanding that maybe you need a 2-income household, you start adjusting because you cannot live that life. Otherwise, or the way people tend to do it these days is they finance it, right? So And then the last thing is your personality. Not everybody can handle the chaos. And some people have to be employees because being an employee is great sometimes. Being an entrepreneur is horrible sometimes, right? Can I handle the chaos? Or maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe you cannot shoulder the responsibility. So that's the final thing. However, let me give you a number. If you make an app tomorrow, Aaron B, okay, and you're able to sell this app to LinkedIn for $500 million, you can quit your day job. That they wanted a number, right? That's the number. If you don't want to be a bitch ass nigga and don't want to think, then you follow the equation, which has at least 3 factors, right? You have to factor your personality. You have to factor the job, which has 2 aspects. Does your job complement and also what kind of job is it? You also have to factor the money. Can you keep the both streams of income open? Blah, blah, blah. If you don't like doing complicated things, maybe you shouldn't be quitting your job, right? But if you want it straight and simple, just one number where all these other factors get pushed out of the way, trust me, the equation completely changes. If you sell that app for $500 million, then you push all the stuff I just said away. But for every other regular person, you have to make decisions in a smart way and consider all the factors that are pertinent.
Absolutely. 100%. And I keep trying to get off the air, but then something interesting will pop up. Judge Zilla says, Ike hands his son a hammer and points at a squirrel when his son says, I'm hungry. Is that sounds about you don't have kids yet, but that sounds similar to your parenting style.
Especially for boys, man. I don't understand. Like, look, again, whatever, man. Like, this is how I was raised, right? I'm the immigrant, so I'm not like a first generation immigrant where, was my parents like, no, I came from America, from Nigeria, right? So the jungle, right? The jungle type characteristics that people want to look at and say, oh my God, that's so laudable for men. I'm surprised that men also shrink away from it when they actually see it in display. Why does the military do the drill sergeant shit? Because they got to kick the bitch assness out of you in order to get an effective human being. I don't care where you're starting from, okay? Whether you're Navy SEAL level in terms of going in or whatever, right? So if you want to do this kind of production at a high level, you want to conquer your inner bitch on a daily basis such that you're not doing self-destructive behavior and complaining about women and children and white supremacy and this and that and the other, then you need to understand that you look at yourself as an individual. It doesn't matter. Because if I stood here today and I was like, I'm comfortable. I'm a 1%er. Let me say that again. I am comfortable if I were looking at the surroundings. I'm a 1%er, but fuck that shit. That's bullshit. I'm a bitch. I have things that I'm scared of, things I should have done that I have not done yet. Skills that I should develop, I've not developed yet. Things I said I was going to do in terms of expanding my business and my skills, I've not done yet. What kind of nonsense is comparing myself with other people? That's bullshit.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I think we about to wrap this bad boy on up. Shout out to Game Changer down there in the building. Saw Jessica X made it in late. See a lot of people filing on in late. So shout out to all you people that made it in late. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate everybody who's been in the building. Yeah, Cave Business Podcast. Definitely. Ike been dropping the mic the whole damn show. This was definitely a good one. Oh, speaking of kids, you are fairly recently married. Are there kids on the way?
To talk about all this people stuff and this feely stuff and all this kid shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Because I'm hoping you have a son, and hope I just want to. I just want to hear the stories about how you're raising them.
Okay, let me say a yes or no. You heard it here first. So yes, I am expecting a son soon. Yeah, and yeah. Let me give one piece of advice. This is something that I've mentored people. I've done all kinds of jobs that included either teaching / mentoring / taking care of people. I've worked at group homes for boys when I was back in college to to make ends meet and all that kind of stuff. And one thing, and also that I learned, I was one of those precocious children. In other words, I was completely aware of my parents' bullshit. Some people are that way too, right? In other words, that lying, especially for boys, I think, lying to your, let me just go to the point I'm trying to say. A piece of advice, if you have a boy, you always want to let the son know the source of your authority. Okay? We no longer live in the world where that thing can be outsourced. What do I mean? The outsourced world was a world whereby there was a hierarchy where God was on top and then the king, blah, blah, blah. In other words, it was a flow of authority. The father represents the blah, blah, gets its authority from God, that kind of stuff. It doesn't work. We're postmodernists now. Hence, you need to but you don't want to tyrannize the kid, right? The point is the kids knew back then, okay, this is the source of my dad's authority. That's why I got to listen to him. You don't want to tyrannize the kid with just arbitrary female sounding bullshit like, because I said so. Let me not even start with that bullshit, okay? No, it's simple. Power and responsibility, two sides of the coin, okay? You can tell the kid, hey, the reason why I get to make the choices is because I have the power, right? I have to drive, because I have the responsibility, right? I have to drive you to school. I pay the bills. I cook this, I do whatever. And you can even then give them examples. Remember before you knew how to shower yourself, right? It was not your responsibility. You did not have the power. You did not get to choose how to do it. You did not get to choose how to brush your teeth, right? You do not get to choose how to do certain things, but immediately you got the responsibility. In other words, you got the capability, the capacity. You then have the power. It is my job to transfer all this power over to you. Get what I'm saying? My job is to transfer all this power over to you. I'm not here lording it over you just because. I'm lording it over you because I have the responsibility, because I have the capability. And the more capabilities you have, such as now you can brush your teeth, such as now you can dress yourself, you can put on your own lotion. Now you have the power to do it the way you want to do it. And more and more and more, because what you're doing here is, number one, you're not tyrannizing the kid. You're giving the kid the respect for authority and the source of authority, and also the respect for capacities developed, because now he sees capacities developed directly tied to the power which everybody wants, because he wants power. He wants to do whatever he wants. He said, you want to do whatever you want, then it comes with the capacity and the responsibility. I think especially for boys, men should make sure, and this is an ongoing conversation from when they're 0 till they leave the house. It's the ongoing conversation of what's the difference between kids and adults. The difference between kids and adults. Like, I came here yesterday, just like you, right? Because the thing, especially for me growing up, because again, I was that child that I saw through all the bullshit. Parents act like they came from Mars or the stars or they dropped down from heaven. It's like, no, you were born of a woman just yesterday. You don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know where this place is. Don't act like you know where this place is. Say, hey, the only difference between me and you, son, is I have capacities, I have skills, I have responsibilities. Hence, I get to make the decision. And it is my job to give you those skills, responsibilities, and capacities and power 100% to you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And shout out to Brandon Phillips in the building. He says, my name is Brandon. Hi, Brandon. And I'm a bitch ass nigga.
We should start that. We should start that group on Instagram.
Says, keep going, keep growing, brothers, keep growing. Absolutely. All right, great show today. Great show today. Hopefully, I will post on my newly found Instagram page my endeavors over my birthday weekend. I hate the term birthday weekend. I think women invented that.
Birthday month, no, birthday weekend.
You have a birthday. It's not a birthday weekend. And I hate when they got the birthday on Wednesday and it's like a pre-birthday weekend and a post-birthday weekend. They try to get 2 weekends out of it. Like, yay, I get to be a whole 2 weekends in a row. But all right, anyway, we're gonna keep this moving. We're gonna get up out of here. Thank you, everybody who came on in. Shout out to Michael Ross for the super chat. Shout out to Brandon. I don't even know if I can. $50. That normally buys rent around here. So let me.
Aaron B. I did not win the lottery. I won the lottery for Visa.
Huh?
Aaron B. I on Solo TV 84's channel. So there's a visa lottery that you play. Everyone in the world goes in there, and then you can win a green card after you jump through a few hoops, right? That's how I came to the United States. It's a visa lottery.
Ah.
Yeah. So I didn't win the lottery.
Oh, that's where you got
No,
all that super chat money from. Now we
No,
get it.
I came here. I
Now
came
we
here
get
by
it.
myself, just like any other immigrant, and just I don't like to say broke because coming into America, you know, $11 a unit at community college, and you can work at this like it's compared to where I was coming from. Granted, I was only 17, but no, there was a lot of opportunities here, and I took full advantage of it.
Right on, right on. All right, y'all, we getting up out of here. Thank you, everybody who participated in the show in any way, shape, or form. Whether you like, shared, subscribe, super chatted, cash app, whatever you did to participate in the show. Hopefully, if y'all saw somebody ask for Ike's channel, so hopefully moderators were dropping the link. I did see the link floating through there, and hopefully whoever was asking about Ike's channel went and subscribed to Ike. There's a wealth of knowledge over there, so make sure that you subscribe to Ike. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace.